have signal. Signal confirmed. Verifying. Decrypting. It's the History Homos podcast. Scott, William, and Patrick cutting through all the slop and trash. Informational snow crash. Go back. Go back. MK Ultra, go in.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me this week, as always, is Patrick, and
Hello.
also very special guest, returning guest, back to the podcast sphere. Very happy to be speaking with Pizza Hut's newest brand ambassador,
Thank
Flow
you.
Universe.
Unofficial, but thank you. Yes, I definitely am out there making sure no one is out pizzaing the hut. So thanks again. It's been a while. The last time I remember being on was almost a year ago, but I'm sure I've been on before since then. But that was when I had that breakup in Idaho. I think
You've been on one in between.
I've been on at least one time since then. But yeah, it's been quite a journey for me these past 6 months. I'm just gonna come right out and say I'm addicted to a substance that should be banned across the country. You can't even really see it on the camera there because of my. There you go. It's called 7-OH. It's a kratom alkaloid. It's like 30 times more potent than morphine, and I discovered it of all places in like Utah on a trip in a mall in a head shop. And so like I'd say about half the states this stuff is illegal, but this is like legal heroin you can buy from Babu.
Joseph Smith never saw this coming.
I can't buy them in Wisconsin where I'm currently living, but I go 20 minutes down the street into Beloit, Illinois. And
right. Yeah, it's a free for all.
So
is this similar to like when you could buy what's that stuff that makes you feel like you're a chair?
Salvia.
Salvia. Is this like when you could buy salvia briefly on the gas station?
It's worse than salvia because salvia is one of these classic psychedelic experiences that'll kick you out of the experience, where it won't become really at least chemically dependent on it. Whereas with a this is morphine, this is heroin, this is a kratom derivative. If you've ever gone into like a kratom, this is why I always stayed away from this stuff because it's so nasty. Kratom and kava bars. I used to go in a kratom bar and it seemed like a heroin den. It was like people passed out and they look real rough. And
sure.
They look like,
And
so kratom is what people use to get their fix when they can't get heroin or they're trying to get off of heroin. They don't have alternatives. And so what this stuff is, it's an extract of the alkaloid, and it's really good for pain, which is why I started taking it. But if you take too much, you'll start puking. So I just wanted to start off the episode by saying, everybody stay away from this stuff because it is legal and there's not a lot of regulation. And they've got all kinds of stuff at head shops these days, mushrooms from
Is that so?
From Amanita, psilocybin, and even 4-ACH or something, ACO, DMT in these mushrooms. Morphine basically is what these are. And I'm addicted to them. I take a step back and it's like sweating and nauseousness. And so I've got to plan I've quit harder things, I think, in the past, which is one thing I've been really, really good at is
quitting things,
getting right to the edge of knowing. Yeah, it's like, but some people get too deep, or like the worst thing that could happen in my situation right now is I used to go to a place where they would sell them. Like every place in Illinois is different. Each little township or city decides whatever they're going to put in their town. And the place I originally started getting these from in Illinois, I went back there and they had stopped selling them. The town said, "We don't want this anymore. Get it."
The town shut down.
The kids are just taking it and going hog wild, or going to sleep, I should say.
Or going to the emergency room, or like I said, you take just a little too much of this stuff, you're vomiting. But definitely,
it reminds me of Spice. Do you remember Spice?
Oh yeah,
the K2.
Oh,
yeah, of course.
K squared, baby.
Never did that because it was so nasty.
Yeah, well, I got to it. I tried it before it had the reputation of being nasty when it like really first hit the stores, and I didn't dabble much with it because first of all, it tastes like fucking shit. It's literally smoking what do you call it? Potpourri. It's like potpourri that's been sprayed with some mystery chemical.
Yeah, it's not good for you. I'd stay away from basically most of that stuff at a gas station or a head shop. It's unregulated, and really user beware, buyer beware, because I didn't expect to be addicted. Because when I did kratom a couple of years ago, I'm like, man, I can never do this again because it's totally something I could get addicted to because it is pain relieving and it does actually feel good. So I'm like, but I actually did get addicted to this. So I'm living my Midwest heroin nightmare right now. To be honest with you, I don't know how I look to people because they haven't seen me in a minute. And most of the people I see that haven't seen me, I'm like, oh, you look great. I'm like, you have no idea.
Well, you tripped out.
I'm like a fucking heroin junkie right now. You have no idea.
Like every upper management person at Pizza Hut.
Oh, I got them all beat. I'm in contact every day with Pizza at social media. I'll have to share my. We'll get into the Pizza Hut stuff, and I'll share some videos with you and some pictures. Sure. I'll tell my Pizza Hut story. But I just wanted to, before I forgot, to tell the 70H. It is like I said, it is a kratom derivative. Since I'm the drug guy, I've done it. I've read horror stories. I've done a massive amount of research on it, and I stuck my feet too deep into the pond, and now it's hurting to pull them back out. So avoid this. I mean, I'm reading like damn horror stories. Like this is 30 times more potent than morphine, and I
haven't even heard of this. I'm so square now.
Well, you're not.
Our audience has been introduced to a drug they never considered trying, and now we have to specify he's not being sarcastic, folks. He's actually
this is a real public service announcement because a lot of people aren't talking about it, or they don't have the platform to talk about it, or they don't know it even exists.
I'm happy to tell people to be that platform, honestly.
But some people will now here's the brand I buy. This is my favorite brand. If we're gonna get into it, this is my favorite brand. Make sure it's got the hologram. But no, I'm just saying.
Do not buy this brand.
Don't buy it. Don't buy any of this stuff.
Don't buy it.
I know some of you will because it does work. It does feel kind of good. But I'm saying it's like.
So what does it bill itself as? Like a painkiller, like a sore neck medicine?
Right here it says dietary supplement, but it is an advanced kratom alkaloid.
Yeah, it makes you not take a shit for like 3 days.
But I'm telling you, it's you gotta you'll get one of these pills and you gotta take the tiniest little amount because I'm like, I'm a big guy, I'm 6'5", I'm a drug guy, no problem, I'll take a whole pill. And the package is like only take a quarter of a pill. I was puking that night. I felt good for a little bit, and then I started sweating and puking. So you can take too much. So it's not. Now I'm on this fine line of like, okay, I gotta really try to figure out. I gotta try to stay on the same dose. If I take too little, I start to feel bad. If I take too much, I start to feel bad. So I'm in a Midwest hell of Pizza Hut and heroin, hillbilly heroin, and I almost bought a float center. Well, that's another story maybe we can talk about. But I just
Yeah,
wanted to,
that was one of the things on my agenda to ask you about. Yeah, it's like, what happened with that? You don't think that there's a market there for the Float Universe branded
so,
float center slash,
so, so
exploration, mines expansion,
well,
fun
I've
center?
I keep up obviously with the industry. I've been in the industry. I've lived in a float center, owned a float center, done the whole deal, and in Florida. And I wanted to do it again. I really believe in it as a modality. Still to this day, I pay money to do it. Um, and so
Yeah,
I've
I
been.
went. I think since I've talked to you last, I've been.
Well, that's awesome. We'll get into that. But I was floating at this place, and it was gonna shut down. But the guy that worked there was trying to buy it, and he was showing me the numbers and stuff. And I was like, oh, I kind of have enough money to do this, to play this game. And so I started going down the path of working it out with the owner, negotiating a contract, getting it for like, okay, 30 grand and 10,000 of that over the last year as payments. And we're talking a $300,000, $400,000 build out. It's talking 2 float rooms. You
Right.
got a sauna, an infrared sauna. You've got an ice bathroom. You've got a salt cave, and you got another room completely built out for another float tank. So
Joe Floatkin.
this would have been float
Going
center.
full Rogan. Yeah.
This would have been Float Universe Part 2, me living in the float center again. But after I had done all the numbers and really looked at it and saw that this place had been slowly really losing money over time, and it was losing money for her. She wanted to just dump it, and she ultimately didn't end up selling it to anybody, and had to pull their stuff out of. And that's a trend I kept seeing over and over again. And I said, okay, this place, it's Lake Zurich, Illinois. This is not my fucking home court advantage. I don't know anybody. I don't know really anybody here in the Midwest. Since I had the breakup a year ago, only people I know now are these people at the Pizza Hut, and half of them are either underage or they're felons. So I'm not hanging out with anybody at Pizza Hut. So it's like, am I going to really spend 30 grand and put another 15, 20 grand into marketing and, things that needed to be put into it, rebranding?
Sure. Yeah.
And then have
Although I gotta say, not to like, toot your horn here or nothing, but I gotta say, like, the Float Universe brand, it is like underutilized in my opinion.
It is, but I'm like, am I going to do this being a heroin addict? That was where like,
yeah, I didn't think of the X factor. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Well, I was going through a breakup too. This other woman I started dating, Angel out of LA. I started seeing her during this job where I was traveling the country. I'd go to California a lot, so I'd see her a couple times. We were seeing each other long distance, and that just ended up happening. And then it ended out of nowhere. And then I'm like pulling back from the stuff I'm taking. I'm like, oh shit, I'm addicted to heroin now. And I'm like, man, do I really want to take on this float center and have to move, have to pay all this money, have to risk, the next 6 months to a year? All my savings are going to go into this being a success or a failure. What's it going to be like in a year? How much money am I going to have to put into this for this to actually be successful? And at the end of the day, and I looked at the numbers, if I maxed everything out, I was going to make 100 grand. I mean, that's a lot of money, and to be able to do something you love and to make a life out of it, that's a blessing. But I'm like, man, that's not a lot of money. And
it's like the scene in the. Remember when Christopher was like thinking about he found out Adriana was talking to the FBI, and he's like she's like, all right, I'm gonna go inside, and he's like, oh, I'm just gonna fill gas and I'll come in, and then he sees like this like guy, miserable dude, like you basically saw like some miserable guy behind the counter at the float center, and you were like, no fucking way, man, am I gonna be that guy?
I saw a lot of people too just put their life savings into it and barely break even, do it for years. And they got, you get a little bit out of it. But I saw a lot of people lose money and time and energy, and they failed. And
Dude, the place I go, sorry to interrupt you, but this place I go to, every time I've been, it's a different owner.
Mm-hmm. Where was that?
It's in Providence somewhere. It's in Warwick, Rhode Island, actually.
Yeah, they exchange hands. And the biggest thing I learned with the float center I was invested in Florida and was living in was you need to own the building. My biggest issue was I'm going to be paying the landlord $4 grand, and it's going to keep going up every year.
Right.
And so I've got to keep up with inflation.
Parking lot.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I don't know anybody here. I'm not going to risk my life savings on a place I don't really want to live, because I've also learned living in the Midwest, I've really enjoyed lots of it. And, it has its moments, but it doesn't reach a high enough hot temperature for me as a Floridian. Like the
Oh,
high for
right.
the high median temperature in the summer is like 86 degrees. I need
Oh,
92
sounds awesome.
What?
and 100% humidity.
What?
Like right now it's like April 1st and it's like fucking 30 degrees outside. Does the winter ever end? You
Let me
know?
let me ask you, Flo. I was just in Florida the other day. Is the high humidity level the reason why there's so many people with wheelchairs, but they're not in them? They're pushing them, empty wheelchairs. I saw this 3 times. I was in the state less than 24 hours. What's going on?
They were physically capable, but they were pushing the wheelchair.
They're just pushing a wheelchair.
They might have been bringing it to somebody that needed it though. Or were they on the streets? Where was this?
You know that thing that people do where they kind of walk alongside the expressway in the
Yeah.
grass? That.
Was this
thing.
South Florida?
So these were
Jack-
crazy people.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, no,
these are-
that's probably what it was. It was just crazy
I
people,
was not in
homeless.
South Florida, sir. I was
Well,
in Jacksonville,
well,
and
still this time of year, it's
okay.
all the homeless are out again like crazy.
Yeah,
They're
I
all
can see
they're all
that.
migrating, the migration is happening.
The
But
migration of homeless people
well, homeless people
tracked
that are
across
going
the
back up
country.
They go, yeah, they
north.
fly south for the winter.
Yeah,
That's
now they're going
funny.
back up north because it's getting more hospitable up here. But the people that do this as a lifestyle, I mean, I get it if you've never known anything, but I've always, even as a kid, like when I lived in Florida, like why the fuck would anybody want to live where there's snow and have to deal with that? And I get it if you're like stuck there and you have that mindset that you can never leave. But man, there's so many places that you don't have to deal with snow, and I didn't really have to deal with
I
snow
love
too.
snow.
Do you see? That's the thing. Like I didn't grow up with snow, so I don't like snow.
You can
Yeah.
take mine, Scott. I'll shovel
Yeah, I
mine,
actually
bring it
don't
to
like
your
snow.
house.
Well, I enjoy the seasons though. I mean, well, I don't like love snow or nothing, but I enjoy the cold. I'll say that.
Okay, well, maybe I don't like the snow as much as maybe some people, because I got to deliver pizza, ungracious nignogs in the middle of a fucking blizzard with
Yeah.
no tip. Keep the
No
change,
tip. Yeah.
and it's like 5 cents. Oh, thank you.
No
Gee,
tip.
thanks.
You never mind. No tip. They're not gonna have the the exact change. They're gonna be short of buck and change.
I've had
And
a few times where I make sure to count it now because I have people hand me a wad of money, and
yeah,
it's the honor system, and I get in the car later and it's like $5 short. I just forget about it and take the hit. But I've had coworkers might go back and like get the money.
that's heavy. That's
It
heavy
is,
shit.
but sometimes, okay. So with Pizza Hut,
Not
I
all
got it.
heroes wear capes. Some of them wear Pizza Hut uniforms.
So I'm gonna give you the standard Pizza Hut driver. And here's the thing: a lot of the places around the country, the delivery fees are getting so high that they are giving the delivery work to like Uber Eats and
Yeah.
what's the other
Sure.
one? What's the other one? What's the other food one?
DoorDash.
DoorDash. And DoorDash
Grubhub.
they do a shitty job, right? So
Of course.
we haven't gotten to that point because I work at one of the top 100 Pizza Huts in the whole country. My management always gets sent to the Pizza Hut top 100. In fact, as we're recording this, they are in, I think, Arizona right now as, again, one of the top 100 Pizza Huts in the country. So we do volume and we do excellent customer service. So I got lucky to work at this Pizza Hut. So when I moved to this, I live in Janesville, Wisconsin, and I moved to, I wanted to be close, relatively close, but pretty much out in the farm area land, which is where I'm at. I got a lot of farms around me. I'm surrounded by farmland.
Nice.
And this pizza I started at was one of these old school ones, like the one in the picture here. One of these ones, the one I worked at, it was built in 1978. Well, simultaneously, they're building a brand new one right next to it. So I got to work at one of these old classic ones, and then they tore it down 6 months ago. So now I work at the brand new one. But I got pictures of it. Let me share some screen here.
Yeah, I think you're clear for takeoff.
Send
Let me,
request.
Allow.
Okay.
Now, what's the difference between, all right, right? Domino's, Pizza Hut, and Papa John's, Papa Gino's? I confuse those two, obviously. Never mind Pizza Hut. I mean,
Well, it's based.
holy shit, look at that.
Can you see
Papa
that
John's
picture there?
based as hell.
Yeah, that's the McDonald's school of thought on the right and the OG on the left.
So this is like I said, I started at the Pizza Hut on the left, and it was built in 1978. And I've been on this journey. I feel like I'm connected to the new Pizza Hut. Like I'm at one with it. I'm like custodian of it. And at least over the next, I don't know if I'm going to stay another year. My lease ends in 3 months, but I've gotten this Pizza Hut through its first year of existence, and I watched the other one fall. And the guy I work for, like I said, is a Pizza Hut master. Been working there 30 plus years, general manager. They all love me. So those are that's where I'm currently working right now. The old Pizza Hut is now gone. Let me share some of my Instagram stories I've been sharing with Pizza Hut. I'm in communication with the Pizza Hut Instagram account.
Nice.
So,
Wow. We're loving this, they say.
so there, I don't know if you can see that on my outfits. There is my,
Yeah, the Pizza Hut drip. As I said, you're dripped
yeah,
out in Pizza Hut. Yeah, I enjoy the Pizza Hut architecture. Um, there's a Pizza Hut that I grew up going to in Stoughton, Massachusetts, which is now a Irish pub called Mickey Malone's, which has at least the last time I went had 25-cent wings during Patriots games.
that's another thing. I love
25
Wing
cents.
Street. I love Pizza Hut and their wings. When I traveled across the country, my company would
What
pay
a
for
crunchery.
country. When I traveled across, I can't even speak now. When I traveled across the country last year, I went to probably 40 different states all in total. And I'd usually be in town for like 3 or 4 days. And at least one day of the week, I would order from the local Pizza Hut to compare it to my Pizza Hut. And every single time, it wasn't even close. So I understand if people are like, oh, Pizza Hut fucking sucks. I a lot of times will agree with you. It would be delivered and it was just trash. It was almost unedible at times. So I don't know if you can see the drip there
Yeah.
in that picture.
The Book It, of course. I want to talk about Book It, of
Okay,
course.
yeah. Did you do bucket when you were a kid?
Of course I did Book It. Patrick, are you young enough to do, are you old enough to have done Book It? Your mic's off, buddy.
He's muted.
Scott, fuck you. You know I didn't learn to read until like last year, so stop with
Okay,
that.
fair enough.
The pan pizzas didn't incentivize you.
No, I don't think my parents would have let me get involved in such a thing.
School, that's the thing. I mean, it actually started a bit of a debate in the public sphere as to whether the corporations should be reaching out directly into the classroom the way that they did. Because indeed, my teachers, and specifically I remember in third and fourth and fifth grade primarily, were physically handing me out the literature for the Pizza Hut Corporation, and also after I had shown that I had read a lot of books, probably 6 or 7, and I got several free pizza coupons.
Nice.
Well, that's a weird. That's a funny thing to decide to make the stand on is we don't want Pizza Hut in our classroom, as opposed to what? Everyone else is in the classroom.
As opposed to what, the
Texas
Electric
Instruments,
Jew.
John McMillan, and whatever the hell. Spare me
Yeah,
All right.
that
McGraw
shit.
Hill, owned by the Maxwell family.
That's the one. Yeah. So spare me. Shut up.
I'm gonna take you into the Pizza Hut room now.
So is this currently in your house?
This is my closet. Well, it's a room that I've turned into the
Dude.
Pizza Hut room.
You are.
Every day I got a new fit
Oh,
for,
wow.
and Jordans too. I'm going through a midlife crisis.
I think so. Yeah.
Dude, there's worse ways to do it though.
Look at
And
that.
that's the thing you put on top of the car, right?
Oh
The,
yeah, I got my own personal one.
In
This
case
is the best
how
part.
did you get that?
I bought it
Like,
off eBay.
in the way that off-duty officers
right, okay.
will
Look at
put
that.
they'll put the
Ooh.
siren on top of the car and then like just break out of traffic.
Oh, yeah,
He puts
you-
the Pizza Hut thing on top of the car and
You
starts.
you get so much leeway and leniency when you have the topper. It's not even funny. Now, what happens is though, customers, people on the road will call and be, hey, that guy just ran the stop sign. That guy's speeding. I've had people follow me into the pizza and confront me, but the
Oh, people
cops,
are wild.
the cops never give me any problems ever. They love it. And yeah, so Pizza has been checking out the fits there. I've been sending that. I've been keeping them updated. But yeah, there's the outfits.
Yeah, oh, by the way, just for those audio listeners, this might be a video episode that you might want to check out because
yeah.
wow, he's got it. This is like Pizza Hut cribs.
So yeah, I lay it out, and every morning I got
This
a
is where
new
the magic
outfit.
happens.
I really,
You're like Pee-wee. You're like Pee-wee's Playhouse.
I really stunt on these people at work, man. Like
Pee Wee Hut.
Like I really every day show up in a new outfit. Like I got 10 pairs of different color red and black shoes. I got 20 different red and
Non-slip,
black
baby.
shorts. It's
Never
just
slip.
I've just really enjoyed my year at pizza. I got that's a Japanese jacket. I get off there's multiple sites you can I got that off Mercari. You can get Japanese fashion and all kinds of Japanese shit off Mercari.com. Depop is another one where you can find this stuff. And I've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
making
yeah. That's where like girls sell their own taste to you.
yeah. But yeah, there's the pizza
Buy
that I
'em.
work at right there. And
Wow.
me just chilling in Janesville, Wisconsin.
So
And
yeah,
not I'm not even high, but strung out on heroin, sadly enough.
sure. Well,
This could be
the
a Leonard
head
Cohen
shop
song.
heroin.
This could,
But I'm
or someone less Jewish, more Italian, maybe.
but I do, I realize I'm 43 years old. I don't look it. I usually will pass for late 20s to mid 30s. But I am going through a midlife crisis because I'm like, man, when I grew up living in Florida, I was obsessed with the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. And I've just been living it up here in, this area. And John Hughes movies, which a Chicago native, and all those movies were,
Sure. Ferris
Illinois,
Bueller, yeah.
Chicago, all
Yeah.
that. Been going to the locations. I got to go to Woodstock, Illinois, where they filmed Groundhog Day, the movie. And it's all, you can go there and it's exactly like it was. I went right after the Groundhog Day festivals, one of the best experiences of my life. And I realized, I'm like, man, I'm like Bill Murray in the movie. I'm living in this town where I think I'm above everybody and I'm an asshole and I'm conceited. And I forgot the lessons that I learned at the Float Center through psychedelics of, oneness and loving everybody. I've just turned into a miserable asshole up here. And I've had a lot of physical injuries. I've had a lot of heartbreak. That hasn't helped. But I realized, man, I'm in Groundhog Day. I gotta like break the cycle.
Mm.
So I had I
Mm.
had a very profound experience on the Groundhog Day location. It is everything in that movie was filmed in that area. So if you're a Groundhog Day fan to this day, it's a huge thing there still. And like I said, that was another part of my childhood. I think one of the best movies ever made.
It's funny
Yeah,
you
it's pretty
say
good.
that because it's one of those movies I've been putting off for a very long time.
You've never
I've
seen it?
I've not watched it.
He though he
I
weird
do this a
weird
lot. I'm
yeah, he
bad
does
at
this a
this.
lot. There's a lot of movies that like I'm like, are you serious? You never seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure? You never seen Jurassic Park?
Have you seen Stagecoach with John Wayne though?
I
From
might have, but it
1940
wasn't
fucking nine?
if I did, it wasn't memorable to me.
Did your
All the shit
parents
I've seen is nonsense.
did your parents keep you away from things
Abandoned
when
me?
you're
Yes.
oh, they abandoned
Yes.
you?
No,
No,
no.
they're just Portuguese.
Yeah, I grew up with a generational gap immigrant family,
Hmm.
so there's a lot of things I missed out on. I don't
Well,
know
probably
what.
for the better. You probably
Oh
missed a
yeah.
lot of Jewish brainwashing. Uh,
Uh, the
and
Portuguese
goy
have their own way.
and goy slop.
Oh,
Yeah.
that I did get to skirt around, thankfully. Yeah. That's the worst thing that happens to the average American child is what is put in front of them for food, called food on a
Yeah.
daily basis. Not Pizza Hut though. Pizza Hut it has all the food groups
Yeah.
right in front of you.
Fruits, vegetables.
Fruit. The fruit would
I,
be
Tomatoes, obviously.
oh
I
fair enough,
think
fine.
I think I figured out the pizza pedophile connection. Um, I've never seen more excitement out of a child than
All right.
when I show up with a pizza.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, wait a minute, because I'm not around. I don't care about children. I'm not around children. It's not my thing. It's not my world.
Right. So you
And
only
so
witness them when they're very excited about
I've only,
receiving
well, I mean, I see them in the
a
stores and stuff. I
gastronomical
mean,
creation.
I'll see them out, I'll see them out in reality in at
Yeah, of
Walmart or
course, yeah.
something. I don't really interact with kids. I don't have any kids, and all my family lives down south, so I have zero children interaction. Like I said, not my world.
Mm.
And but so I notice when I deliver pizzas, the kids get super excited. So I'm like, there must be a connection when the pedophiles. There must be an association somewhere with the pedophiles must give the children pizza or something like to get them excited. I don't know how it works, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, why does everybody immediately like Pizzagate and pizza?
Well, I think it's
a
cheese
cheese
pizza
pizza,
is like a
child
yeah,
pizza, yeah,
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 child sexual abuse material. Yeah, you don't have to say the other way.
but why?
We don't say it
So
the other
I'm
way.
like, I just like, well, maybe this is part of the connection.
Yeah. How's
Oh,
your no fap streak going?
I jerked off the other day.
I'm
hell yeah.
sorry.
At the Pizza Hut.
No, I
Wait,
haven't
where,
jerked.
yeah, I was gonna say
No,
he doesn't
no.
put his peanut butter in his chocolate,
Did
bro.
Did you see this? Did you see the story about the coffee place? I don't know where it was, California, Texas, or somewhere. But they're like, it's like a Hooters, but it's like a coffee place. And the guy, there was a black guy, and he was going around the drive-through, and he was gooning in his car, right? He was
I
jerking
was
off.
just gonna bring
Hell
this up.
yeah.
So I thought it was coffee. I thought you said copy. Yeah. So yeah, the guy was jerking off and
Boobs and
like
coffee.
looking. It's like as I understand it, and they have one in Massachusetts too. It's called Mary Lou's Coffee, where they like go like, tee hee, we hire only young women to
Yeah, it's
work
like a
here.
Hooters or a Twin Peaks, but it's like a drive-through coffee stand.
Yeah.
And this
And so
guy
yeah,
Little
was,
this dude
skinny.
was
yeah,
beating his meat. Yeah, looking, and then they videotaped him and publicly shamed him, put him on the internet, and he and heroed to use an old. Oh, Patrick probably doesn't know what "and hero"
uh,
means. I know I'm thinking about it because he's a Zoomer.
that's Encyclopedia Dramatica
I
way
know,
back.
dude. So I didn't even have to fucking preface it for you,
That's
Flo.
like you're the man now dog type stuff.
Yes, dude. Look
The
at
only
him.
encyclopedia I know is Encyclopedia Gematria. All right.
Yeah, and
Paul.
Yeah.
you just basically said this is not bussin' on God.
Not
Yeah, man, I'll tell you, if
all cap.
if I'm away from social media for like a few weeks, I'm out of the lingo that quickly.
Brother, you ain't kidding. Dude, I woke up, got I'm on the shitter. I opened my phone and it's just Studio Ghibli, whatever you,
Yeah, oh yeah,
dude, everywhere. And it's like, I was just on the internet last night. When did this happen? Where it's like now New York Times is running, stories about Studio Ghibli or whatever. It's like this stuff
it's
happens
everywhere.
faster than you
It's
can.
and it's the AI is moving so. I remember like what was it like 6 months to a year ago? The AI was just was barely gibberish things it was putting out, and now it's like
Yeah.
crystal clear, perfect stuff. Like
Mm,
where is this going to be in 5 years? It's insane.
somewhere frightening. I mean, people are already outsourcing their writing skills to what Grammarly or
Oh,
whatever. Like,
creatives are fucked. All
oh,
creatives
Yeah.
are fucked.
Well,
I
good.
mean,
get
unless
fucked.
you're an independent like person, like you, and it also levels the playing field for an independent dramatically,
Yes.
right?
Lego.
So it's going to get very interesting, and like you can still
Well,
make it as an artist if you get a song that's popping and you get it out there in the right area. It gets on TikTok, you're instantly the biggest thing on earth in a split
right. Well,
second.
here I actually have a little bit of a take on this. So basically, what it was is if you were like a journeyman, like mid tier anything, you could like get a gig doing slop, like dog shit, like furry art. I remember like I know someone whose older sister is an artist who just it does like what do you call that, like to order furry art or whatever.
Commissioned furry art.
Commission furry art. Yeah.
Wait,
And
she
so
makes a living.
Like deviant art.
yeah, exactly. But not a
She
living,
makes a
but it's
live.
you can make
Okay.
money doing it. But now
Okay.
that's all gone, and now it's all going to be AI. But people who are a genuine like a perspective to actually share, they're not going to not be able to do that because AI can only reroute like already existent human creativity, and the human mind can actually create new things. um so therefore like there still will be new creations all the time, but all those like parasitic like mid who have like okay at doing art are now they're out of a job.
I'm excited about it. I have so much fun with it. I mean, the limit with
Yeah, I
AI
enjoy
is
it
really
too.
is your computing power, and your imagination is really the only limit. At this point, I struggle with computational power and storage space, right? And being an ADHD person, like bad, like that's another thing. This drug has absolutely stifled my creativity.
Hmm.
It gives me the ability to work through physical existence, but I have
Right.
not produced. I still come up with ideas, but the follow through is almost non-existent on these things.
Nothing.
Um,
You don't feel inspired, so to use a
I
word.
mean, there is, yeah, the pharmakeia of drugs, man. There is a spiritual dimension to drugs that,
Hmm.
I mean, on the very simple basis of energy in, energy out, you want to feel a certain way. You want to go high. Well, the high and the fall are usually pretty equal. It's going to cost you something for in the psychedelics
Sure.
case, the knowledge, and for the pain, to help these receptors not feel this pain. There's a downside where it's, you've got to keep the flow going. And like I said, if one of these townships decides to get rid of this drug, there's going to be a lot of people overnight that are either going to be searching for an alternative, or they're going to go through some serious heroin-like withdrawals. Like I said, this stuff is 30 times more potent than morphine.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is.
Flo, not sure if you're big into fiction, novels, stuff. Have you ever read Neuromancer by chance?
I've
Don't
heard
come
of
on,
it.
dude. Don't blow our fucking wad. We have to talk about it tomorrow night, man.
Oh yeah,
Well,
don't blow your wad. No, I haven't.
I
I'll
wanted
say
to
this
ask him
is-
a question.
I,
Okay,
well,
ask
no,
him,
I
Liz.
haven't.
I'll tell you
haven't-
if he has to stop.
I know
Okay.
about it, but I don't know enough about it to say I know about it.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, it's just the heavy drug influence in the book, and it's that book was written 40 years ago, literally, and the way that he's describing the pitter patter of the drug subculture, like it's scary realistic. And I've been traveling, I'm seeing a lot of people not in wheelchairs but pushing them. I'm seeing a lot of erratic behavior.
Sure.
And where you are, Flo, I mean, you say you travel a lot. Do you see that ugly thing just like bubble over past the sewer grates in weird ways? Because the way I hear the statistics talked about with opioid usage, it's like fucking ridiculous. And I expect to look to my left and right and just see people keeled over. Where are they? Are they at the hut?
Oh, they're in downtown
Um,
Boston, bro.
Well, let me tell you something. You've
They're
got
on the
somebody
move.
like
They're
you
migrating.
got you. Well, this is why I think it's scary. Is you got somebody like me who is out there doing it and is able to kind of keep it together and kind of knows a thing or two about quitting drugs and drug addiction and the spiritual dimensions of these things. And I really have gone quite a distance to try to understand the dimensions of psychoactive drugs. A lot of people don't have that insight, and they don't have the willpower, and they don't have the brain power. Uh, so I'm like, if I'm barely holding it together and I'm able to quit some of these things, and I know a lot of people it's taken over, I'd say there's a lot of people out there fighting silent battles. I mean, I fight a silent battle with weed. I love it. It's like this stuff. It helps with the pain, but I mean, it does have in excess use, detrimental effects, I think. And cautionary tales are out there. I know people addicted to caffeine. They stop drinking.
You're looking at
coffee.
one right now.
Oh, so here was the thing. So I basically switched my Bang energy drink addiction. So I was able to dip into the world of energy drinks. And it was interesting. I get goosebumps now talking about it because I didn't really think about it too much, but it really, when you're doing a psychoactive substance, I realize, you are encased in that frequency, and you are also attracting people within the frequency of marijuana use or stimulant use or LSD, or in your case, caffeine use. And so I noticed when I was really doing sometimes 2 or 3 Bang energy drinks a day, I was really attracting a lot of people who were also like, this one kid used to come into pizza with 6 energy drinks for the day. I'm like, do you drink anything? He's like, no, not water. He's like, no, just these.
There's water in here.
But right. But when I stopped drinking energy drinks,
Isn't it a diuretic though?
I mean, it was that, but people were like, Bang is the worst of the energy drinks. People are also like, okay, it's one thing to drink energy drinks, but like Bangs are the worst. I'm like, okay, well, I just got addicted to these because my ex was into them and I picked up that habit. She also was into matcha and drinking black coffee. So this girl was addicted, and a lot of people are addicted to caffeine and energy drinks and nicotine. People are out, all of us are out there fighting. Most people are fighting silent battles with a substance or two. Mine currently are the 7-OH and the weed. But I've had battles with oxys and way in the past. I've had battles with Adderall. I've had battles and I've been able to defeat them all. And I know I'm hoping, it just does it. And a lot of times it's just like willpower. It's like, oh, I don't feel like being sick for a fucking week and lethargic for a month. Because like I said, like you quit using drugs and it all catches up to you pretty quick and you bottom out very fast and it hurts. And depending on the drug, you're going to be puking, you're going to be shaking, you're going to be sweating. It may, but a lot of it be psychological. So this is why, again, with the warning with these things is, hey, if they pull these off the shelves like they did with salvia, okay, so salvia divinorum, the one that makes you feel like you're
A chair,
a ceiling
yeah.
fan for
Like I'm in
10,000 years.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
There was a guy on YouTube that was making videos of him constantly blasting off and getting into
Yeah,
danger.
I
And
remember
so
this. Yeah,
he
it was
brought,
in the Dateline NBC special on salvia, the new drug that all the kids are taking.
yeah. And so Hamilton Morris made a whole episode about this guy way after the fact.
Oh,
But he was the guy, this guy that was doing these videos that ended up getting the federal ban on this product. Because for a while, you could go into any gas station, any head shop, and you get 80x, 100x Salvia divinorum, which the natives take by taking the leaves and doing it that way. They're not extracting it times 100.
Yeah.
So, like, you really will be in an MC Escher. Like, I've read stories. I saw a video of a guy. Like, it's
Yeah,
like
I
the
did it
start,
once. It wasn't that crazy, but
like the
it was
Star Trek
weird.
episode where
Worst.
Picard is like in another life for 80 years and he learns
Yeah.
to play the flute. There was a
Oh
guy that
yeah,
had
I love that episode. Yeah.
there was a guy that had a salvia experience, which is like we were in my friend's basement. It was Christmas Eve. We were just doing salvia. 1 minute I'm there, the next minute I'm living a whole nother reality for like 60, 70 years, wife, kids, all the stuff. And he comes back and it's been like maybe 10 minutes later and he's experienced a whole nother life. Just like I said,
That's
that
not
episode.
dissimilar to how I felt. It didn't feel like that long. It did feel like probably approximately how long it was in reality. But yeah, I did feel like I had died and was reborn, and I sort of gained my consciousness all over again. And it felt like I felt like I went up through the like I was at one end I was a baby, and at the other end I was like my normal self, and like I like literally was all at one point. It was very fucking weird. I don't recommend it, honestly.
Do not recommend it. I do not recommend it either.
I recommend salvia under controlled conditions because a lot of times it's such a dissociative that you can think you're in your living room, but you think you're in a whole another arena of existence and you're going through the window or something naked.
Yeah.
You know,
You ain't
you're
kidding.
totally
Real
lost.
quick, we got to talk about our friends over at Magic Mind. Sorry, not Magic Mind. My bad. My friend. See, it's just a fucking. You see, it's a fucking. It's a. What do you call it? Reflex. But Plunder World. Oh yeah. Guess who is back in the ring, collectors? You thought Plunder World was out of the game? Think again, because Series 2 is here, and it's ready to reclaim its title. While the champ was training, the competition got complacent. Well, wake up! The champ has returned.
It's time to shake things up.
That's right. Listen up, Magic the Gathering. Your mana pool's dry and you're tapped out. Tops? More like bottoms. You never had a chance. Yu-Gi-Oh, you're lost in a dark hole, my friend. You've activated the trap card called Irrelevant Impermanence.
My God, King, they're not coming back from this one. Tell you that.
Plunder World isn't just here to compete. It's here to change the game. We're about disrupting the collecting scene forever. Forget stale nostalgia and corporate-approved toy box. Plunder World Series 2 brings topical insight and meticulous curation, all crafted lovingly by fellow schizos and listeners of the History Homos podcast. All this adds up to a trading card that hits like a flying elbow.
Yeah, speaking of hitting hard, let's crack a pack, brother.
All right, let's crack a
God, I
Let's
was
crack
hoping
a
you
pack.
would. I have no idea what I'm about to find out. This is here.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
excited.
All right, so this is
Oh,
series
yeah.
1 for the record. Oh, I got a rare. Dude, I got a holographic. This is only one in every like
Who is that?
20 packs
William
or
Henry
something.
Harrison?
It's the Sherman Silver Purchase Act.
Do tell us
so
more, Scott, about
I
the
will,
Silver
I will.
Purchase Act.
July
Folks, this is
14th,
great.
July 14th, 1890, Congressman John Sherman authored a bill to require the government to increase purchases to nearly 8 million ounces of silver monthly. The rural public was still upset over Sherman's previous Mint Act of 1873, which ended bimetallism through eliminating the silver dollar. Sherman's new act restored silver. Notes for precious metals were used instead of paper dollars. Exchanges of silver for currency were no longer allowed. This made the price of silver plummet and gold wasn't around. So this guy was like He was a bit of a Shabbos goy, we'll just say. He was a bit of a bank for friend of the banks by disempowering the use of silver. The free silver movement was a very populist movement of the late 1800s. Anyway, so
Ergo, no friend of the show, no friend of
obviously
ours.
this guy stinks. But anyway,
On
I am going to
ice.
keep this. I am going to keep this and use this for for my Yu-Gi-Oh board, by the way. But anyway, so Patrick,
Wow. That's from the classic series 1, but on to series 2, Scott. How can the audience get in on the action?
simple. Visit plunderworld.com right now and pre-order Series 2 because you're tuning in today, use promo code HOMOS in the notes and you'll score 3. 1, 2, 3. You're out of here. Any extra packs. Consensive narratives just took a steel chair to the spine.
That's gonna leave a mark, homos.
Plunder World, because history is the main event. www.plunderworld.com slash www.plunderworld.com promo code homos. All right, back to the
Baby.
show.
Yeah.
Wow, that's new.
Thank you, Plunder World.
I love Plunder World. I love those cards. I flick through them often.
What are those, like the Illuminati card game or something?
It's not a card game. I will. This is, by the way, this is free promo for Plunder World. Honestly, I believe in the product that much. They are not. They're not a game. They are simply informational cards, similar, but and they have cool art on them, similar to like if you remember Wacky Packages or Garbage Pail Kids kind of thing.
Like the
Flo.
Gulf War trading cards.
Exactly like that. Yes. Exactly.
Frankly, they make for a great supplement to a schizo trivia night, perhaps. Something like that.
Unironically too. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I'll say this. I brought them to, so I play Float. I'm going through a midlife crisis as well, although I'm a little younger than you, and I've gotten back into playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Hell
And
yeah, brother.
and I brought a whole, well, actually the Plunder World was last time they bought ads with us, they were nice enough to send an entire box of the packs. And I went, there was like a bit of a special tournament I went to, and I handed one out to each player in the tournament, and they fucking loved them. They were like, they were all fighting over trade and like trading them between each other, and because a bunch of people were like, "Yo, I want 9/11."
Nice.
While Float only sees kids when they're happy about pizza, Scott,
These are
there's
not
only...
children; these are
Oh,
man
okay.
children.
You said kids. To be fair, but either way,
To me, they're kids. They're like your age.
fair enough. Fair enough. 4 years younger. Either way, good job pilling the public, Scott.
I'm very happy. They all thought it was very cool. I'm not just saying that because they are a sponsor of the show, but yeah, if you want to buy, do pre-order the Series 2. I already saw some of the art from Series 2. It looks fucking great. And what's it called? Back to the show.
I have a question for Float. Is that a picture of the JFK motorcade over your left shoulder? It's probably not.
No, it's just I'm glad you brought that up though, because I am a big JFK guy, and I think we've got into a new reality now because there was this one Mandela effect. It was like the four people in the car reality versus the 6 people in the car reality. Now we're in the 6 people in the car reality, right? There's Kennedy and Jackie, and the governor, and the wife of the governor, and then the 2 Secret Service agents. Now, before I came from a reality where there was only 4 people in the car.
I always remember the 2 guys, and according to Corey Hughes, those guys change.
And the Zapruder film has changed now too, or some other film has come out where you can see the guy in the front seat pulling a gun and shooting backwards. Have you seen that?
I don't believe in that.
You don't believe that one?
I've seen that. I don't. I think it's fake.
Or the other thought is that Jackie's got the gun and she's the coup de grace right there. She's the finishing blow.
We've cracked the case on the JFK assassination.
Oh, yeah?
I will point you to the excellent book by Corey Hughes, friend of the show.
Mossad, is it too long?
Oh yeah,
Mossad.
Oh yeah, it's a whole group team of guys who work.
It's the mafia too, right?
The mafia and the CIA and the Mossad are the same group.
There you go. Well, there you go. We always knew. We knew all along.
But yeah, so Warning from History by Corey Hughes.
Who's the kill shot then?
There's several. There was Jack Valenti. He was the but probably best known to you as being the old guy at the Oscars. who is the president of the Motion Picture Association of America for 40, 50 years. And also David Ferry was one of the ones taking a shot. Probably you remember his portrayal by Joe Pesci in the JFK film.
Yeah.
Uh, there's several other people. Oh, William Seymour, which is one of the guys who impersonated Lee Harvey Oswald in the run up to the assassination, trying to make him seem like a crazy communist. And that's I can't remember all the people who took a shot, but um,
We
yeah,
at least know it came from in front of Kennedy, at the very least. So it's any of those
yes.
guys on the knoll or at the fence.
Daltex
Um,
bill. Somebody took a shot from the Daltex building.
some guy took a shot from fucking 3 counties over, maybe. Some guy was probably pissed JFK was even in Texas and just shot one round off into the sky, and it landed in Dallas, plop right on his head.
Yeah,
It's not
Pizza wasn't using that logo in 1963. I think they
Pizza
were
Hut did
around.
exist.
They
Pizza
but
Hut did
they
exist in
they used Pizza Hut.
1963.
Pete was the logo. So let's talk
Yes.
about pizza a little
Pizza
bit.
Hut
So what
Pete.
kind? So yeah, Pizza Hut, started out a small thing and then ends up going
Yeah, the
big
reason they
time.
named it Pizza Hut, do you know the reason why?
It was something to do with the signage, right?
Yes, it was they only had 3 more characters left after pizza. And they're like, "Well, what are we going to call it?"
Right.
Well, what's a 3-letter word
Pizza
for a
Spa,
building? A hut?
pizza.
Well, there is a pizza spot. There's Town Spa in Stoughton, Massachusetts, of course.
Here's a riddle. Here's a riddle. How does Pizza Hut sell the what was it, the Bigfoot or some bullshit? Some pizza from the 90s for like
Yeah.
$10, right? And I'm driving by a billboard today. Here I am in North Carolina. What was this? Hungry Howie's was the chain restaurant, whatever. It was like a sandwich and a pizza for $7. What's going on? How
Uh,
can that?
a loss leader, perhaps,
Yeah.
like the Costco hot dog or
The
whatever.
Costco hot dog,
They'll
the
never
classic.
change
Oh
the
yeah.
price on it. Like,
Yeah.
let me hold on here. I
So
got a
yeah,
nice.
1959, I believe the Pizza Hut
Yeah,
was
so they were
started.
around, but they didn't sponsor the Kennedy assassination.
I don't think so either. They were two I forget the names of the guys. I believe that they're not even Italian. They sounded
No.
Irish if I'm not mistaken.
By their own admission, they had never made pizza
Yeah.
before
They
the
met
hut.
and the one Italian guy in town in Kansas City, I believe is where they started.
There was one Italian guy in town, and they saw him making a pizza. They looked through his front window, and he's throwing the pizza in the air, and they're like, "Wow,
Yeah,
we should
Carney. So
exploit
they
that."
Carney is definitely an Irish name. Dan and
Mm.
Frank Carney is the name of the two guys who started it in Wichita, Kansas.
Yeah, that's where it
Jeez.
was.
A
I
place
think
desperately in need of pizza, by the
I
way.
think I passed by one of the first Hooters not too long ago. The one of the it was
Isn't
like
that
in
in
somewhere.
Florida?
No,
Hollywood,
Were
somewhere.
the
Florida?
original
I
waitresses working?
thought it was Illinois.
I wouldn't know. I've never been to one in my life. To be
I
honest
think
with you.
I think that first McDonald's is in Illinois, for sure.
Mm.
Do you see the picture there? Is that
Yo,
sharing?
Oh
yeah.
yes.
And
For the audio listener,
you'll never not be a Pizza Hut.
So for people that are listening, it's a meme, right? And it's a picture of the old Pizza Hut, right? A lot of these Pizza Huts are abandoned. Sometimes they're torn down, but a lot of times they're reused by other companies.
Yeah, Mickey Malone's, as I said, in Stoughton, Massachusetts,
Or like
still it's the
a
same windows.
Chinese buffet or something, right? But the meme says, no matter what you do to this building, everyone knows it used to be a Pizza Hut. This is what the trans community fails to understand. And I think this is a perfect analogy. This is one of my favorite memes. I always think of this meme when I think of trans people or I think of Pizza Hut. So that's what brought that to mind.
I like how it's in Reddit doesn't let you screenshot things anymore that aren't it lets you know where it came from, and it's apparently the people of Reddit found this to be a terrible Facebook meme.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
Well, yeah. So that was the first
as
one
if I
that
can't
came up
crop
there.
a screenshot. Reddit.
Here's another one here. Conservative cops. Have you ever paid attention to the classic old school Pizza Hut buildings? That iconic red roof and brick walls makes them stand out, even if they're repurposed. Sure, they can paint it, put decorations on it, even rename it. You could put a flashing neon sign up that says definitely not a Pizza Hut, but everyone will always and forever know it was a Pizza Hut. The building can even change from the food industry entirely And your first thought would be, wow, weird how the Pizza Hut is a bank now. This is what the trans community fails to realize. That's an extrapolation on the first one there. But
Conservative cops always support Israel when they are beating their wives.
yeah. So that's what I like about Pizza Hut, by the way. It's another throwback to my, midlife crisis nostalgia, like the iconic Pizza Hut from the 80s and the early 90s. And Pizza Hut always had the best product placement in movies. They had to deal with
Donald
Star
Trump
Wars.
is like Donald Trump is
Donald
the
Trump, let me find that Donald Trump eating
Classic.
pizza backwards here.
Well, he likes his kids
the
backwards
stuffed
too.
crust, because Pizza Hut or Domino's, and this is let me ask you this: does Domino's, have they always had a stuffed crust pizza? Domino's, not Pizza Hut.
Domino's, no, I'm as I understand it, Pizza Hut was the because there was a legal case. Some guy in I believe Florida had approached Pizza Hut to be like, "Hey, do you want to buy my patent for stuffed crust pizza?" And they said, "No, thank you," and then immediately released a stuffed crust pizza, and then had better lawyers and stole the fucking idea from him.
Listen, not to get all bottom right quadrant here, but
not to get
listen,
all fucking.
how are you gonna
what if the
patent
pizza consented?
the pizza? Here's the thing: you cannot patent cheese in a crust. I'm sorry.
Well, the reason I asked is people are saying because Domino's just released their first stuffed crust, and they're like, "It's our first stuffed crust ever."
When was that?
Like
I
just
remember
recently.
when it happened. Yeah, exactly.
Like just recently. But people online are like, "Oh no, this is a Mandela effect. They've always had."
No, they're just wrong.
They're just stupid. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so
who's this Mandela guy? I keep hearing about. Sorry.
The Nelson Mandela was the first Mandela effect. Is he alive or is he dead? Did he die in prison or was he released? And so people remember one way.
I was always in the universe in which he was alive.
Right. Or the Tiananmen Square, stuff like that. Like what was the outcome? Which reality do you live in? Did he get run over? Did it ever happen? Or did the tank go around? Like stuff like that. Okay, so
I think he did get run over, right?
I don't remember.
That's the funny thing is, I'm sorry, Flo, to divert to Tiananmen Square, but I think this is one of those cases where we don't know where it begins and ends. I think most people have been repeating for the longest time that it's that he did get run over because that's
that's what the CIA wants us to think about China, of course.
Exactly. Yeah. But in recent years, I have seen a lot of pushback on that, and at this point, I don't care.
Well, I'll say this. I'm going to just say that they did go around him because I, for one, welcome our Chinese overlords.
I welcome our Chinese listeners.
I welcome our AI overlords. Hi, Ultron. I'm your friend.
Hi, Roko's Basilisk.
Exactly. Okay, here we go.
We don't have audio, but
you might have to share audio.
You don't have audio?
I do know. No. You have to click. There's an extra tab when you switch.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you're right.
But yeah, I'm very familiar with the ad. Of course, Donald Trump in the late '80s, I believe.
All right, here we go.
Shilling,
I think
at the
this
time,
is the right thing for us to be doing, Ivana.
Shilling a shitty electric car.
Talk. Ivana. It's wrong, isn't it?
But it feels
Wrong.
so right.
Then it's a deal?
Yes, we eat our pizza the wrong way.
Is this his current wife? No, it's not. That's hilarious.
From Pizza Hut, with a ring of cheese baked into a totally new, thinner
That's so
crust.
funny.
You'll want to eat it the
Do you
wrong
think they have
way.
Pizza Hut?
Crust first.
Do you think
Can I have
Melania
the
ever
last
orders
slice?
Pizza Hut?
Actually, you're only entitled to half.
Large, just $9.99.
There you go.
Shilling Pizza Hut. So Pizza Hut has always been
It's the most innocuous thing he's ever done.
Based in Israel, pilled.
so Pizza has always been, again, I'm in this matrix right now of nostalgia and midlife crisis of like the Midwest, pizza, Chicago Bulls, John Hughes, and all this other shit. And I've been doing a lot of exploring. I just got kicked out of another mall. It was awesome. I've been still doing the mall walking, so people can follow that on
Right,
YouTube.
I was going to ask.
The mall walking continues. Now, I did quit the job. So I was working for this company called Diamond Assets, where I would travel around the country. And when schools would get rid of their iPads, their MacBooks, they would, kids would graduate, they'd turn them back in. They'd get rid of them. They wanted to sell them back. So we'd buy them. Some would be recycled. And so we were kind of an e-waste company, but then most of them would be refurbished and resold. So what I would do is I'd show it to like Nevada, Clark County school board, 10,000 iPads, show up, go to their warehouse, box them up, put them on a truck. I drive the truck to a terminal, and then I fly back. So I was doing that for a year all over the place, and I would go to malls. So that's what the mall walking continues to be. Now that job did end for me in at the end of November, because after a year of hard work and loyalty, they wouldn't give me a raise, and they were letting like legacy people leave the company. So I said, this isn't good. So I put in my 2 weeks, and I said, you know what? And at that time, I realized also a full blown addict, a slave to the hillbilly heroin, a 70H, and I'm making actually better money at Pizza Hut as a driver, full time, than I was at the other job. And the other job was making $20 an hour, but I was getting, all those miles. I was getting to eat for free for days. Like I had a per diem.
Yeah. There's fringe benefits.
Exactly. But I ended up, not doing that job. So I almost bought the float center. But what I plan to do is get clean, finish working on my book. It's a meme book. And I've got a name for it. The name of the book is The Art. Oh, I got it written down here. I think it's The Art of Watching Paint Dry, a spiritual guide. I have the exact title here, but yeah, so I'm working on a meme book.
And they're all yours?
Oh yeah, The Proper Way to Watch Paint Dry, a spiritual guide by Float Universe. So yeah, I'm working on, I'm taking all those memes that I had, I've been doing the meme account for over 10 years now. And I basically reset it. I took all the old memes down. And so they'll be published in a book with other people's memes too. It's a commentary on meme culture, a progression, and it's also spiritual / psychedelic memes, very metaphysical stuff, very niche. And so, yeah, I've enjoyed 10 years in the e-world, in the cyber culture. It's been a pleasure being on many of your episodes. And I think I am going to relaunch here as soon as I stop being a dirty drug addict. And we'll get the podcast going again. So this is a good, start for me.
Reintroduction. Yeah, no, I was hoping. I mean, like,
I wanted to do like an epilogue.
Curtain. Yeah, well, full curtain pull. I feel like the last few times you've been in the show, you've been in sort of state of flux.
Yeah, I try to come back, and it's just like false starts.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, like, it seemed like you really wanted to keep, like, every time you came on the show, you're like, "Yep, we're gonna do the podcast." And by the way, I don't doubt that this is the one. By the way, for the record.
Oh, well, the last time it was a woman. Okay, so the last time it was this woman that lived in LA who I still am hung up over, in a good way. Like I'm at peace with all this stuff, but man, I would spend 6 hours a day on the phone with this woman, and it would be really deep conversations, long. I wouldn't feel like at the end of the conversation, like, well, that was a waste. But when you're talking to someone that long, you're not getting anything else done. So there's only so many hours in the day. And the older I get, the more I really enjoy sleep. And being a depressed.
And the 7OZ there might have a little ass.
And also the weatherman. I didn't understand the importance of the goddamn groundhog until I lived in a place where it wasn't fucking summer 24/7. I'm like, that motherfucker better not see his shadow. Because I'm from Florida, so we have no seasons. We have, hot and hotter. That's it. And I love that. So I'll probably be returning to Florida in the next 3 months. I'm going to enjoy my spring and summer here in Wisconsin. But
I think you'll transfer to another Pizza Hut back home?
No, they're not doing traditional pizza. Like I said, it has become cheaper to outsource it to DoorDash than it is to pay their drivers. When I would go out to California, like in Wisconsin, it's a $4.99 delivery fee. So if you want to tip the driver, that's on top of that. So you're paying $4.99. And then if you want to tip me, that's whatever, another $5. I do get a percentage of that. They do. Okay. So how it works at Pizza Hut is this. I come in every day. I'm going to get the miles, and because I have a new car, I get paid 62 cents per mile. And then I get the cash out. And if they put it on a card, I get the card. So every day I get cashed out the tips and the miles. So I'm walking out of there on an average busy day about $100 to $120.
Nice.
And then I'm at $11 an hour. They start at $8.50, which is laughable. So when you're on the road, you're getting $5 an hour. When you're back at the store, because you're not delivering pizzas all the time.
Yeah, you're baking boxes and
you're a glorified dishwasher and clean the floor and all that shit. So I've got my ego. That's the other thing. It's like my ego constantly needs a humbling. And sometimes you can't get that through psychedelics. Sometimes you need to be humbled. Like I
By
need to be
real
humble.
life, yeah.
Like, or you people always talk about the ego that they have doing like MMA and shit. Like, I've never done that, but I understand. Like, yeah, your ass getting handed to you and being humbled. So I try to put myself in situations where I could be the boss, but I'm going to be, at the bottom tier.
Do you know how
And
humbling it is
serve
to
the
have a
servants.
to have a 18-year-old Hispanic kid beat you at Yu-Gi-Oh?
I
Scott,
mean,
I
you
wouldn't know.
knew.
That's never happened to me. But
Oh,
an 18-year-old white kid recently did beat me. Good kid, by the way. I like that kid.
oh, here's a question.
Rematch.
Who's the
Impending.
greatest basketball player of all time?
I'm gonna be cliche here and say Larry Bird.
No,
Okay.
it's Bill Murray at the end of Space Jam.
Oh, that's probably the best answer. No, actually, it's Michael Jordan. Okay, I'm glad nobody said LeBron,
You
but like,
you're a Bulls guy, yeah.
I
Amen.
grew up in the prime of Jordan's
Yeah,
six
I was
championships.
around then, but I'm from Boston, so I was
I
like,
was
yeah,
a
we like the Celtics. So
I was a teenager playing basketball in the prime of Jordan's. I'm 6'5" too, so I was a baller, and so I'm, you know,
I wish I
and
was
we
a baller. I wish I was a little bit taller.
and we had WGN, that's Skilo, and we had WGN pumped into our house in Florida. So I was like,
We gay niggas.
we were getting the Bulls games, we were getting the Bozo show, we were getting all that Chicago news and shit. I'm like, no, Chicago was this faraway place when I was a kid, like a fairy tale place. They ain't no fucking fairy tale place, by the way. It's a dying Midwest out here. Lots. Okay, so by the way, they discovered the exact location of where the backrooms photograph was
Oh yes.
taken.
Oh, love it, love it. I heard about this. Yeah.
Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Two
Oh,
hours
I
you
thought
from
you were
went?
gonna say that was an Oshkosh Bagosh that
no,
got
but
closed down because of a
It was
right.
like
choking
it's a
death.
toy store or something, right?
It was a furniture store.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
like the basement of a furniture store, and some
And it's got water damage, and it's like about to collapse or
some
something,
internet
right?
sleuths figured it out, but ultimately it was in Wisconsin. I'm like, wow, like what are so I've been tripping out with all the bizarre.
Did you know clip into Wisconsin float?
Some woman seduced me here and then left me for dead, basically. And
See,
yeah,
when you told me you moved to the Midwest for a woman, I was like, this isn't gonna end well.
it never ends well, and
Yeah.
that usually never
You make
ends
them move
well.
to you, bro. That's the trick.
I tried to, and it fell apart. So I'm like, okay, my final move. And part of me wanted to leave Florida for a while. So I'm not like in the worst situation. I'm not complaining. Like I said, I got to explore not
Yeah.
only the perimeter of like Iowa and southern Wisconsin and Illinois,
Some
Michigan, but
people never
also
move away from the place that they are born within 5 miles or
when
something.
I went to law school in Orlando, there was a guy that was from Lakeland, and he was from like the country ass part of Lakeland, Florida. And when he went to Orlando, he thought that shit was New York City. I'm like, bro, you need to get out. This is like, this
Lakeland's
is
nice.
oh no,
Lakeland's
Florida's great. I listen, and when you get into the old world Florida stuff, like that, the Garden of Eden and all the pre-flood Bible takes place
hell yeah.
in the southern United States, and
Hell yeah.
the Garden of
Are you a Mormon?
the only no there's a whole
Hebrew
link to
Israelite.
the pre-flood happens in the North American continent. The only place to go for what exists is in the panhandle of Florida. So the Ark and the Fountain of Youth and all the myth of the Fountain of Youth shit, it all comes down to Florida anyway. When you
I
talk
didn't
about all
realize
the
the Fountain of Youth was in the Bible.
no, I'm not saying no,
no.
but no, it's not.
Oh,
But
I'm asking.
the Garden of
No.
Eden, which is associated with the Fountain of Youth.
Wasn't
a lot
that
of times.
Ponce de Leon or whatever?
Yeah, all those.
Well, I knew
explorers.
that. I knew that. I thought he was just like being like we are going to how you say Florida.
People think Florida is just a backwoods swamp, but it is a
It's
mythical,
more than that.
magical place, man. And I've lived in Japan, I've lived all over the United States, I've traveled all over the fucking world, and I still am always pulled back to Florida. And like I said, like discovering this whole old world, Tatarian. I don't know if you get into that the old world stuff.
I'm not a believer, but I'm intimately familiar with it. Yeah.
Oh,
Enthusiastic
you know what I
about
love
it.
watching is I really do, I'm not a Tartaria guy, but I love the buildings. Like I love the architecture and stuff that they say is Tartarian. So I watch these Tartaria like YouTube channels just so I could see them show old photographs of
like the mud
old
floods.
Providence.
You don't think that mud flood stuff is compelling, where they have buildings where it's like, like a mud flood would have happened and totally would have, put whole parts of cities underneath a layer, and then they dig back some of these buildings and they find, oh, okay, yeah, they just keeps going down.
Yeah, I know that specifically
Like,
Seattle has that
okay,
underground.
here's the craziest things. Like all these gigantic fucking World's Fairs that they just built and then they tore down, and there just nothing exists of them anymore. It's like a fairy tale almost.
This
Like those,
the one only know I didn't look into any of them except for the Chicago World's Fair. Chicago World's Fair, I did the reading on, and in my opinion, they faked all of the things that look fancy, and then the only buildings that they
well, like it's
made
a
to
movie set and
last.
it's all fake. It's a facade.
Yeah, and then the ones that are still there today are the ones that they actually put the work into and made.
I don't know, man. You get into that, and here's my problem with AI right now. People, it's like the AI boomer trap stuff on Facebook, where
Yeah.
like, oh, my cousin made this gigantic wooden sculpture. Nobody's giving him likes. Can you please give a like and a comment, like with the
Yeah.
tears and the sadness? I'm like, this is some boomer that had no idea that this is a AI.
Here it's like a soldier with like 4 arms, and they're all bandaged up, and he's like, he just got blown up in an IED.
So I'm
This
worried
soldier
about.
just lost all his arms in Kabul. Please comment your social security number below to save him.
Here's my biggest issue with AI right now and what's going on. Like, for example, Frazzle Drip, and the people in the Q community were talking about this for a while, that at a certain point, they're going to have AI so good that they're not going to be able to say that these Frazzle
Well, let's
Drip.
say what Frazzle Drip is. Frazzle Drip is supposed to be a video of Uma Abedin and Hillary Clinton like eating a child or something.
Filleting the face, putting the skins, but like if you know what's his name on The Office that wears the mask, the skin face mask, it's just like that.
Do you mean in The Office?
Dwight, when Dwight
Yes.
takes the puppet or the blow or the CPR doll and fillets the face and puts it on his face, because listen, the guy that plays Dwight is tied into all those people. He was down there in Haiti at the Hillary Clinton Foundation. He's one of those people that always gets thrown into a pile of celebrities with Oprah and all these other terrible.
I was just watching him
Tom
in.
Hanks,
You guys ever seen?
Ellen?
You'd like this movie, Float, Galaxy Quest.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, he's in that.
Starring Rain with 2 N's Wilson. What's the second N for? Rain.
Hey, chill.
Hey.
We're on YouTube, buddy.
Right. So
don't say what the second N stands for.
Stands for no comment. Never been to Haiti. Don't even speak.
What was I going to say? Well, why was I talking about that? The
AI.
So
The
AI is getting to a point now where it's like you can,
You'll appreciate this take. I don't know if I said it on the show, but I said it extensively in the group chat. But the JD Vance meme where everybody's JD Vance.
I love that meme.
Dude, that's because his compromise video is coming out, and they're going to be like, oh, it's another one of these goofy ass. Oh, it's JD Vance sucking dick. Surprise, surprise! Another one of these goofy ass.
That's the thing.
memes.
It's getting to the point where I really have to do
the point where I can't even tell that.
Well, that's the thing. When you get what gets me like confused and scared sometimes online, I'm looking at some of these Facebook posts of this hidden history stuff. I'm like, that goddamn, that is not some 10-story sword buried in the fucking dirt that somebody just dug up. That is AI as it gets. And they're like, what do you have this whole caption and people are believing it. I'm like, no, there's no way that's real.
What do you make of the giant corkscrews underneath the pyramids?
Pyramids? I mean, at this point,
sounds fake to me.
Maybe we've just never had the technology to see what we're seeing now. Or maybe listen, one thing I will get to, I am very metaphysical. I believe that, this is not as solid of reality as you think it is. And then
sure.
Like, for example, the existence of miracles.
If the stars are right.
I don't think that there's any causality to reality, and miracles are proof of that. So if miracles are truth and that something happens out of nowhere with no causality, it's a miracle, then I think that actually there's a layer of reality where that's just the absolute truth across the board. And our mental the way we put reality together excludes the possibility of miracles more than they should be happening. So I think that there is no causality to reality. What I'm getting at is there's no causality to reality. It's very magical. It's not as solid as we think it is. And I mean, psychedelics prove that. I mean, you get drunk. I mean, or just like look at the clock, right? Where you want the time to pass by. If you don't watch, you have a good time. It goes by fast. If you watch the clock, a watch pot doesn't boil. So there is something to perceiving reality, and the filters we're wearing, whether they're chemical filters or an absence of a filter, like through meditation, where we, transcend
We
or,
try to perceive reality, or do you try to have pure consciousness or whatever?
right. I mean, I'm thinking there might be a reality where dragons were a possibility. Like look at pandas, for example. And I know Owen Benjamin is a big champion of this, but there's a lot of people on YouTube that I don't know where they get it from, but a lot of people are like questioning the panda narrative. Like, okay, all these things existed in the Chinese zodiac, all these other animals, even mythical animals like dragons and shit. Well, where did this panda come out of nowhere in like the last 150, 200 years? Like, where is the history? How does an
Well,
animal
how
that
about
can
gorillas,
barely
dude?
well, gorillas,
Oh,
you look at a gorilla and it's like, okay, that thing's strong, the way it
Well,
eats,
I
the way
know,
it's.
but people didn't know that gorillas existed until
Well,
like
I agree
almost
with that, but it's like
1900.
the thing with the panda is like, how does the panda survive? Being that its diet is very limited and it's not, it
Yeah,
doesn't
there's
eat.
some fakey things going on with the pandas, particularly in light of the fact that like they only
Maybe it's a
exist.
genetic thing or something, or like a
The Chinese
liger or
government
something.
is the only people who can sell you a fucking panda. That seems like they're laughing at Whitey for falling for the panda meme. And it's like just some sort of like bear that they like selectively breeded to look like that, perhaps. I guess
mm,
isn't that like what Owen Benjamin thinks?
I mean, he's got a lot of theories on it. Sometimes he'll go as bad as, and I don't listen to him as much, but because a lot of people, and I just honestly, for me, he stopped saying nigger as much as he used to. He stopped saying it basically, and I'm like, you know what? You are not as funny as you used to be, and that was a
this is why I
huge.
come here.
That's why I come here.
I come here to hear it.
So that stopped for me, and a lot of his narratives and the things he would talk about, I'm like, I'm just good. And there's just as a content creator, I don't have a lot of time to listen to it. And the Q stuff is coming
Yeah.
back around too because of like Trump is back, and it's
Well,
like,
I want to talk about that too. Yeah. So what do you make of like the whole QAnon's like almost obsolete now because you got like the people who are going like, Trump's actually a secret white nationalist. All you have to do is just trust the plan and like he's gonna carve out a space for Rahowa, like I don't know, fucking whatever the
I
shtick is this week. Emphasis on pun intended, I should say.
shtick, yeah. You know that if I may just jump in real quick, that whole, the way the way Q is being related to the average public doesn't really matter what the CIA operatives who are typing up all of these drops, what's actually true, who they're actually reaching. What's more important is that the readership of the New York Times thinks that anyone who even mentions the letter Q is, off some,
Right. Oh, and then also now, if we say what we think about X, Y, or Z, they go, "What are you, like some kind of QAnon
Oh,
guy?"
dude, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
For years, I've been hearing that shit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you didn't let me finish.
I think that there is technology beyond explanation being used on both sides. If we trust the narrative that what they show, they've got something 40, 50 years ahead of that they're not going to show, right? And if they're giving the public the access
Or
to
are they
view.
counting on you thinking that? That's the other question.
No, I mean, if they don't have much beyond the AI they're giving us, then it's truly a level playing field. But I don't believe that they're going to give us something that they don't have either control over, or that they don't
What
have
William
something.
always says is what they're doing now is not, to me, and I agree with him on this, is that it doesn't really come off as like a regime that seems like very firm in its grasp on us. Like everything they do seems
Hmm.
like they're about to fall apart at all times. And maybe
Well,
I'm
evil doesn't create. That's I
yeah.
think one of the biggest problems is when you have like a parasite, it's feeding on the living and it doesn't create anything, and it can only go as
Hmm.
far as the host can take it. I
Hmm.
think you have people. I think if the Q narrative is going to hold at all, I think it's going to go on the one that I always thought was possible, which it's not on a standard clock that those we read those post ads, but it's an ongoing thing, which was part of the Biden stuff was to show the corruption, to let them put that out in the open. And I think if that's true, and then now Trump is back, and like they didn't have if they did legitimately steal that election, it was only because they had the pandemic to do it, because nothing happened, I think, in terms of a steal with this election, not on the scale that it happened on the last election. So I'm thinking that they either let them do it and wanted to, let them show and play their hand out, or like I said, like there's people still thinking that all these people are wearing masks and somebody was puppeteering
That's
Biden the whole
again.
time, and you
Yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The people who are like, yeah, or it's like Jim Carrey is Biden and shit like that. Like, You could tell because there's the like the paintings that are there in the Independence Day movie are the same paintings that are in the fucking the Oval Office when Biden is there. Good stuff. All very classic schizo posting, guys. Keep up the good work. But the thing is yeah, no, it's just really interesting to see how, you know, things have changed. We were sort of talking off air before we started recording, is like you were saying, like, man, like, you know, it's now everybody has an opinion on the Jews or whatever. And it's like, man, I kind of feel like, you know, guys, you know, not for nothing here, but feeling a little bit like I hipster here. I was doing it before it was cool, you know what I mean?
Yeah, not I've just been a noticer that has been autistic with talking about it. I've never really had much hatred, especially when realizing it's always been an offer, and they're just providing. They're a middleman for whatever sinful, uh like pornography, for example. They just provide it. You don't have to
Yeah.
consume it. It's
Yeah,
an
obviously.
offer. You don't have to click onto the Pornhub, but hey, but they're more than happy to provide it. Same thing with like the pharmaceuticals, another perfect example. Like it's like the same thing with the porno industry. If I'm honest about statistics, then I'm anti-Semitic. I'm not saying, hey, go out and let's he didn't kill enough of them, or let's kill more, or none of that. It's just, hey, I'm just noticing statistics here, and hey, I can't help it that you think
Or
that's
how
great.
about this? You like, you know, we got the fucking president, and he's supposed to be Mr. Anti-establishment, but also he's like literally this is like the most pro-Israel administration of all time,
I think
including George W. Bush.
I think Trump as a conservative has always been hilarious because to me he's always been a classic limousine
Dude, he eats
liberal.
pizza backwards. Is that kind of revolutionary thinking doesn't just fall from a tree?
I mean, ultimately, Trump is I like his. He's always described as like a huckster and a pitch man and a almost like a carnival barker in a way, but it's the cultivated image of the "you're fired." He's been in our psyche for a long time. I mean, look at like the Pizza Hut commercial, like Home Alone
Yeah.
2. He's in Home Alone 2.
Home Alone too, yeah.
Um, The Apprentice for years, tons of commercials. So he's always been in our psyche, and he's like Reagan, the actor turned
Oh yeah, I
politician.
definitely think specifically this election was it has a
He's a
lot of
strong
eerie.
mirror of
It is,
Reagan. Yeah.
yeah, the Reagan Jimmy Carter one specifically. I mean, not only that, but like they literally waited till Trump was like was literally sworn into office to kill Jimmy Carter, who's been dying for time immemorial. I've known him to be dying for like at least 3 or 4 years, and he didn't. They waited to take a photo of him like voting, and then
Yeah.
also I think they waited until like Trump was literally sworn in before they finally announced that he was dead. I didn't. I also thought the Queen was dead for a while before they said she died, because they hadn't been showing pictures of her at all. And then but they had that like that jubilee or whatever, where it was like, oh, it's been 100 years or 50 years or whatever that she's been the queen or whatever. And I was saying that I wouldn't be surprised if she's dead. And they were just like, well, we already planned the fucking party, so we don't want to spoil all the people's excitement for the jubilee.
The Queen will not be in attendance because she sprained her what hip,
Gizzard.
sprained her cunt,
Yeah.
and she'll
Her
be along
gizzo.
short.
Well, don't worry. Michael Jackson and Diana are out there, and they're
Yeah,
working with
Michael Jackson is fully innocent, by the way.
Robert Kennedy Jr. with Q, and it's all being taken care of, guys. Just go about your business. It's all good.
Yeah, I
Mike,
remember. I remember the Robert F.
Patriots are in
Kennedy,
control.
the RFK. Well, yeah, RFK is in the news right now too because of the supposed. I mean, the obvious blackmail. He's hanging. If you're hanging out with Shmuley Boteach, you're blackmailed by Israel. Let's just get that out
I've
of the
never been
fucking
a
way.
Robert Kennedy Jr. fan ever.
I like his book.
I never read the book. Can't get past the voice. Can't take him seriously. And he has an
He did
abysmal
not. He did
record.
not do the audiobook.
Imagine
uh,
reading. You can't read the book without hearing his voice.
He
Like it's in your
did.
head. There's a chip in the back of the hardcover that
my favorites are conservatives that get hard-ons for these people that are really not conservatives at all, like
Yeah.
Trump, and they're not. These people are not really conservatives.
These people have had countless abortions.
I love Trump though because he's the ultimate troll. That's why I love him. He's the ultimate troll, and he's funny. Biden was funny for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, but he was possibly the funniest one though. Just did that fucking clip of him saying, "I got 2 words for you, made in America." That's the funniest thing that has ever happened in the history. Like,
that's what I mean though. Funny in the wrong way. Like, not he doesn't even know what he's saying.
Yeah.
It's not earned comedy. He didn't earn that though. He, dementia, right? The guy craves ice cream.
You didn't build that.
Old people that crave ice cream like that.
You can take that to the bank, Joe Biden.
They give them ice cream because it takes them back to the memories of when they were a kid and they had memories and stuff. Like that's why they do it.
It's a fact that people who have Alzheimer's, if they get like agitated, you give them ice cream and they're fucking all happy.
Yeah.
Speaking to your point about, altered, like, what substances you're on, even something as simple as sugar as ice cream, it really does change your whole disposition.
I mean,
yeah, you can kick everything. You can kick nicotine, opioids, caffeine, whatever. Then what's the last boss? Sugar.
Vegetable oil.
Hell yeah, brother.
Are you off the seed oils?
I mean, I work at pizza, bro. I'm pumping. I'm pumping 3 fucking pumps.
How much? I was gonna say how much pizza do you eat?
So this Pizza Hut has something called the taco pizza, and you can get your sauce as a bean, like the bean sauce, and you get it topped like a taco. And so I can eat pizza for a bit, but after a while, my
stomach. I'm starving. We
got
any taco pizza back there, Earls?
My stomach gets torn up by the marinara. So luckily we have Wing Street. So here's my thing. So here's the Float Universe Pizza Hut special. So what you do is you get your wings, your bone-in wings, not the bone out, not the boneless nasty. I mean, those are still good, but bone-in wings. And by the way, if you can eat wings in the year 2025, you must be a multi-millionaire because those fuckers are expensive.
Oh my God. I buy them from the store sometimes and I'm like, I got to take out a fucking second mortgage.
Somebody ordered about $100 in wings the other day. I said, this person must be a multi-millionaire.
What was it, 4? Was it 4 wings?
Exactly. It was like, it was like 4, like 12 packs or something. But anyway.
It's funny you say that. I see 50-cent wings and I'm like, no. That's no.
And the thing about wings too, it's like if you're eating 12 wings, it's like you might be eating actually 12 different chickens, right? If each one came.
No, you have to.
There might be luck somehow 2 of the same parts of the same chicken in there, but most likely when you get like if you split a 50 piece with your friend, you're eating like 25 chickens, man. Like different souls, chicken bodies. If you believe in those things, if you're a vegan, like that's the thought process. Like, man, there's a Holocaust on my plate.
How many vegans have had abortions though?
Probably all of them.
I was gonna say, like,
well, but let me ask you this: is the point you're getting to, Float, that we should genetically modify chickens to have at least 24 legs?
Yeah,
right.
No, I mean
wings. I think it means
wings.
Make them grow only
are.
Wings and drumsticks. Exactly.
No head.
We'll get to that point. I mean, they're trying hard now with the lab grown meat to get that. They're pushing the labeling away and calling it a certain kind of food product where they're eventually going to be able to replace it and get the old real meat kicked out of the grocery store. Like so we have a place called Hy-Vee. It's like the gold standard of grocery stores here. And they have a whole section that's like.
It's called Hy-Vee? That seems like an unfortunate fucking name.
It's like, okay, but it's like.
HIV, it's spelled?
No, it's HIVEE. But.
It doesn't look good to me, brother.
Anyway, well, it's the gold standards of stores here in the Midwest area. But anyway, so why was I telling you this story?
The lab-grown meat.
Oh, so they have a whole health food section, and it's like it says dairy, but none of the products are actual real dairy. It's like soy milk and rice milk, and it's all. But to get the real milk, you actually have to go to the the normal. You're a dirty fucker eating the non-expensive stuff.
Yeah.
You're not you're not buying it from the baller aisle. You're going down and getting, So one of the reasons I moved to Wisconsin, besides the woman, was when I lived in Florida, like people were like, man, they were thinking food comes from the grocery store. I'm like, you dumb fucks. I go, if food comes from a farm, like I'm literally like telling people this, like some people actually didn't know where food came from.
Shit, what they got them fucking cows out back there?
I wasn't going to say that, but yes, that's the race. But anyway, but I'm like, I got to get somewhere where there's farmers around me, where actual cows are and milk and cheese are being produced, where if the shit hits the fan, I can't go to
You can get
Publix,
at it.
Winn Dixie, and fight all the nignogs for what's left, or eggs are going like. I just remember toilet paper. Did you ever?
Yeah.
Were you affected by that? I was. The whole.
No, because I'm a classic, always gone to the like BJ's or Costco, always bought the big things of toilet paper.
Right. Well, I wasn't in surplus of it, but I always had enough, and I even had a few to spare. But I would go to the store, and I'm like, damn, bro, it's true. People have just.
Yeah, they went off their rockers.
And that was just
because
toilet
one
paper.
fucking Jew just said, "Oh God, you're gonna be locked in your houses for at least like 6 months, and otherwise we're all gonna all 6 million of us are gonna die."
What is it? 15 days to slow the spread.
Whatever, dude. I'm happy to report I don't remember.
Can you
what any of those
believe?
slogans
Can you
are.
believe that was 5 years ago?
Yes, because it's starting to like fade out of my memory. Actually,
People are still wearing masks. That's this thing that it's like if you go
those
to
people
Asia,
are called ugly people, sir.
Brother, yeah.
I'll tell
Ugly
you,
and immigrant is the only people left wearing masks.
yeah, or
Yeah, that's
liberals, and
true.
there are some attractive.
Yeah, they're
I
ugly
mean,
though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. The
I defy
personality
you.
cannot be
I fucking
overlooked.
defy you to find someone who's symmetrical, Chadley,
Covering her
doesn't
up.
have sunken chest.
I mean, there's some pretty hot chicks that do yoga that are vegan that I know. Now, I wouldn't like their politics, but they are attractive.
But do they
Yeah.
wear masks?
No.
Usually,
you're
though,
right.
the earthy, crunchy people don't really do it.
It's usually troll people. You're right, but and that's like I said when I came here. I'm like 6'5" guy from Florida, and I'm around with these Midwest troll motherfucking hobbit looking people. I'm like, man, I was like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, thinking I'm just better than everybody. Like that's why he was in that movie. He was just so cocky and conceited, and I'm like, man, I used to be so humble, but I came up here and I lost that humility. So I've learned in a few ways, like I said, delivering in like this is the most biracial city I've ever lived in my entire life. It is the mud shark capital of the world, Janesville, Wisconsin, about 90 minutes from Chicago. It's like the first stop. It's like the crossroads of Chicago,
A
Milwaukee,
lot of mystery
Madison,
meat at Walmart.
and Rockford. Man, the Walmart. Shit.
Jeez.
Do you have any Walmart survival tips for the people at home? Do you have any ways that you've evaded danger?
Don't maintain eye contact too long.
Yeah,
Keep your
that's
receipt
good.
handy at the end. When they're gonna ask to look through your bag again.
There's actually a black listener of the show. Shouts out to Frank Zen, actually, who identified this to me. He said it to me, and since then I have not been able to shake it. But there are 3 kinds of Walmarts. There's white Walmart, black Walmart, and Hispanic Walmart.
I was gonna say Florida. We got a lot of Hispanic Walmarts.
Yeah, but it's like when you go in, you know exactly what kind of Walmart you're in, right when you're walking the front door, though. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of bleed between Hispanic Walmarts and black Walmarts in Florida.
Okay, that makes sense.
would
Yeah,
think
yeah.
so.
Where I'm at in the Northeast, it's like very much like the one in, say, Brockton, Massachusetts, is a black Walmart. And but the one that's kind of near where I live is, I would say, is a Hispanic Walmart. But I have been to a place in the center of Massachusetts, to a Walmart, which is a white trash white Walmart.
Now, what are the defining features of each category of Walmart?
Well, the Hispanic ones have more Hispanic products, more Hispanic
Hispanic
produce.
Walmart are going to have carts everywhere in the parking lot, for one thing.
That's all of them.
Not all of them. White's going to have a little bit more order. Blacks
Yeah,
aren't going to have
true.
as many because they're going to be stolen.
And everything's behind glass. You have
Yes,
to wait
the
for
black ones, you're going to go into
hospital.
stores and you're going to be, except for the suntan lotion, you're going to be getting behind some glass to get your products. Another thing is certain things like grape products. You're not going to find a lot of those in black stores.
They're all bought up. taco,
burrito, enchilada stuff. The Mexican mile gonna be a little light. In the Latino area.
Oh no,
Walmart.
actually, the Hispanic Walmart near me they overcompensate knowing it's a Hispanic Walmart. So
Oh,
they're
right.
actually
5
always
times a
stocked
day,
up on that kind of
they
stuff.
restock.
And the
Yeah.
white trash one, you're going to have a lot of action in the automotive and hunting, buying
Yes.
the guns
Nice.
area.
Nice.
Not a
The
bad place to
pharmacy.
be, the white Walmart, honestly.
Yeah.
Eh. If you're at
Uh,
Walmart in general, no matter who's around you, you're the problem. Go home.
Black
You don't need
one, you're going to find a lot of stuff not on the pegs, like on the shelves.
You're gonna see a
like,
lot of
a lot of
Chips Ahoy
chaos.
packages open and like
Yeah.
half eaten. Like,
Yeah.
You have to dig through
what is with
boxes to see
Chips
the one that
Ahoy?
hasn't been
I guess
opened.
you know what I think it is that it's got a little bit of salt in Chips Ahoy. They add like it's really a salty cookie if you've ever had them before.
Keep
I
talking.
think like it's like I think like, you know, the demographic that eats Chips Ahoy cookies, I feel like they don't drink a lot of water. So they probably piss out all of their electrolytes, being that they're just drinking diuretic sodas and energy drinks all day, grape flavored shit. So I think it's probably they need that extra salt in order to keep their electrolytes going. So that's why the Chips Ahoy is like a siren song to them.
What, to get to the next aisle, they start feeling lightheaded.
Like
They're like,
diabetes.
I gotta reach for something.
Now, as a white person, you go into a Latino Walmart, you're going to get excellent service as a white person. Now, in the black Walmart, you might not get the best service. You're going to get a few side-eyes for sure
You're
as a
gonna hear
white
a lot
person.
of
White trash Walmart, you're going to do just fine. You might be slowed down by fat people in the carts, the scooters.
You,
people,
you see that at
people
all.
writing bad checks, scamming. Lots of the return line, horrible situation.
Yes.
Lots of scammers, lots of people putting bricks in vacuum boxes and shit like that, trying to return
Right.
stuff. Horrible nightmare. White people,
yeah.
white trash Walmart. Not. Hey, I live in black area. I would choose the black area
Really interesting.
as a
take the
white guy,
Latino
as a
Walmart.
white guy alone.
I see what you mean. And yeah, and I will say that I have been to the Brockton Black Walmart, and they don't hassle you. I will say this though, there's like a lot of hijinks going on if you go over there. Japes, I will say, jungle japes, if we'll say.
I like
But I
goofs.
remember distinctly. I remember there. I went there at like 10 p.m.
Oh, no.
And like
You're the
a
problem.
17-year-old black kid was smoking a blunt in Walmart and just playing music on his phone, and he was riding on one of those carts, like smoking a blunt on the fucking mobility scooter, riding through the down the aisles.
I
Yeah,
can't hate.
I would feel the least safe. Like out of all the malls I've gone to in all these, different parts of the country, Texas, Seattle, like lots of Asian people in Seattle, like lots. Latinos in Southern California, the blacks are the places I would avoid the most, honestly, as a white person. As a tall white guy that, has a resonance to a degree with certain blacks, I could probably maybe survive. But if I had anything of value, it's being handed
At what
over.
cost?
Right.
Survive at what cost? I mean,
I'm not, one day I was stranded in a black neighborhood. My car broke down. I was like waiting for hours and like I had to get out of the car at some point. I took the Jordans off. I was like walking barefooted in the parking lot. I'm like, I cannot wear these fucking shoes in this parking lot right now.
they see you.
Yo,
They're like,
he's
oh,
got
somebody already
Jordans.
got
Get
him.
him.
Yeah, they were like the red and black one, like like his.
Oh yeah, you
wasn't-
don't want to
yeah.
fuck around with that. Yeah.
No, I'm like
That's
no.
like catnip.
Yeah, I'm like I'm
No,
I'm
I
just
mean you
gonna-
don't want to be like showing the wrong gang sign. Although if you're white, they know
Oh.
you're not.
Well, yeah, I mean exactly. I'm not throwing up for the Bloods, but based on the pizza attire, I'm Bloods all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Even though rap wise, I'm a Crip guy, Snoop Dogg. But hey, Suge Knight, he's a Blood. I love Suge Knight. In fact, I think Suge Knight gets a bad rap by a bunch of like literally homos. Like, here's the disappointment about rap is you learn all these guys are gay.
Yeah, well, that's how they keep them on their leash because what do you want to ruin their, like they can tell the studio can tell them to do whatever they want because and they'll do it because otherwise they get outed as faggots.
Yeah.
let's hope that guy smoking the blunt, riding the mobility scooter in Walmart will stand up to these multinational recording companies and tell them no. I'm
He
not.
thinks
speaking
you
of-
cool it with anti-Semitism.
You know,
We'll see.
I'm also what yeah, maybe we can like wrap it up on Kanye. I'm really glad he's back for round 2.
That's not
Uh,
Kanye.
and he's or yay, I should say, and he's going straight for the jugular this time, nonstop swastikas, merch. Um, you know, and when he
Yeah, it's
listed that,
funny. I gotta say, I feel like I think I saw a tweet today where he was saying like something about like giving an order to I'm gonna like get Hitler on their ass or something like that, and I'm like, honestly, get his name out your mouth, Kanye.
I just can't believe he does a Super Bowl commercial where he sends you to a website where he's got a swastika shirt for sale, and the product number is HH. You know,
Yeah, that
Heil
is
Hit.
funny. That's pretty funny. Yeah, why do you think we named the show History Homos, Float?
Oh, hidden.
Hidden history.
The hidden history.
Oh boy. Well,
Yeah.
I guess
Is that
red is
Kanye?
it.
Is
Well, you
that
know, that's people say is it a clone? Is it a brainwashed MK Ultra version? Is it you know, like Ye versus Kanye, right? Like Sasha Fierce and Beyonce,
Oh yeah,
or
like Lee Harvey Oswald or Harvey Lee Oswald.
you know, your
Yes,
alter, right?
yes.
If there's anything in MK Ultra, and these people are doing
Mhm.
it, like look at Britney Spears is just cooked, you know.
I don't think she started
Dude.
out in a good position. To be fair,
Oh, what I'm
No,
saying is
no.
they've cooked her a few times, like to the point where
she's
like
overcooked.
where's the
She's
real
done.
person, right? So I
Absolutely.
Stick a
don't,
fork in her.
I mean, going back to
but
what you were saying, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Flo, but the drugs, your perception of reality plays so much into how, what it's gonna, how it pans out. I mean, if you're watching the clock, it drags and so on. But if you're
right.
a everyday drug user consistently, even something as innocuous as caffeine or, weed or whatever, at what point who are you anymore? Are you this frantic, sweating, anxious person before you get a cup of Joe in you? Is that really you, or is that what this horrible thing
Well,
you've become? And
well,
Kanye, where's Kanye? Where's the
who are
Kanye
you,
light?
right? There's like there
Right.
is no version of you that exists. There's your perception of you, and there's my perception of you, and there's Scott. There's
Mm,
everybody in it. Your mom, your dad, your friends, you know, everybody around you views you differently, and so
mm.
there is no
Mm.
true. Like you see yourself you hold this internal vision of yourself, but I don't see you that way. I mean, I don't know. I see you a certain way. I could say,
You
uh,
don't think I'm gay?
I didn't say anything about that. I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? You hold a vision of yourself and everybody else sees that completely different. So there is no
Absolutely.
version of me that is like an objective reality, like
Mm.
even 10 years ago or like 30 years ago when I was a kid, that's still me, but it's not me.
Mm,
You know, and you're
mhm.
not your body.
Different
Ultimately,
guy. Yeah,
when
yeah.
you
I know
get to
what
the
you mean.
deepest core, deepest core to spiritual stuff, it's you're not your mind, you're not your body. You are
Mm,
the awareness of your mind and body, and you're trying to create that gap in that space, that meditation where you're the witness. And that's like the
mm,
ultimate goal of meditation. And then to transcend the ego and your attachment to, you know, coming back and reincarnating and then free of samsara, right? I think that that's pretty much the ultimate goal and the name of the game is, and all you really have to do, it's so easy to do, but it's so hard, is just sit in the corner and, you know, be still and quiet enough until you reach that point, until you know, create enough space and you have that enlightenment, like transcendent experience. You can have that with psychedelics, but that's not earned.
mm,
It's not free and it costs to come down and it's not forever. It kind of
Mm.
resonates with you for a while. And unless you continue to do drugs, you're going to lose that space unless you kind of get back through meditation. Or in my example, which is why I push floating, it gets you to that meditative space rather quickly, rather comfortably. It takes away all as much as you can external stimulation from sight, sound. You're floating free of gravity. Your body feels amazing. I mean, so yeah, Scott, how did you feel with your floating?
Oh, I've been like 4 times now, and yeah, I do sort of like go in there going like I'm gonna think about Napoleon this time, or like I'm gonna think about like I'm gonna contemplate Christ, divinity, like or something like that. And I don't know that I've ever gotten to like the zone, as they say, but I'll say this: it does give you it's truly I'm gonna say it humbling
mm,
to be away from your phone and other stimulation, not just your phone, because I'm pretty good about not being constantly on my phone, but stimulation in general. Like I'll not look at my phone for 4 or 5 hours, but be, playing a video game or reading a book and listening to music. I'll do both. I'll read a book and
mm,
listen to music sometimes.
mhm.
That's fucking double down on fucking,
Hell yeah, brother.
yeah. And
I
that's
need an
it's-
adapter for all these inputs.
yeah, well, it's humbling to go, nope, I'm just gonna be here with the guy I don't like for fucking 1 hour.
My worst enemy for a
Yeah.
whole hour.
Right. So that's the importance of the float for me. And it's a very powerful tool for somebody who, if you want to have the experience of somebody who's been meditating in a cave for 20 years in a couple of weeks, if you had one in your house or you had a membership and you had a serious devotion to it and you were trying to push beyond, if you like, yeah, it's good to go in there and bring an idea into the tank and study it, maybe see it from a different dimension, maybe have insight come to you. But it's also, like I said, for me, I should drop all this stuff, all the mall walking, all this podcasting and memes. Really, it's external stimulation that keeps, like when I put content out in the world, I'm creating karma. I'm like kind of flickering out a little wave into reality. And people that listen to this or read experience the meme or I'm creating and continuing the cycle for me. Now if I was to just sit still and meditate, reality would kind of come to a standstill. It would still go on around me, but all kinds of other things would happen internally, all kinds of internal fireworks and insight, when you let go as much as you can of the external stimulation as much as possible. So that's why sometimes psychedelics are also a trap where you are caught up in the sensory explosion of a filterless experience, transcendent beyond even words, right? And you want to keep experiencing that, and you don't want to pay the price of meditation. You don't want to pay the price of discipline and spiritual practice. So you just take the acid over and over again. And eventually, from what I've learned with these entities,
You just become crazy.
Well, you either become crazy or they make the experience so bad where you don't want to go back. And ultimately, you're supposed to take the insight and go and work on yourself. That's like Alan Watts is saying, you look into the microscope, you get what you're supposed to understand, and then you go out into the world and you work on it. You don't keep staring into the microscope. That's psychedelics in general. So the float tank can take a mushroom experience and take that to the next level. Complete and utter ego disillusion to the point where there is no body, there is no mind, just infinite awareness in a dark void. And then what happens beyond that is, like I said, mostly inexpressible, ineffable experience that, and if you feel amazing. So that's the thing. Forget about all the metaphysical and spiritual stuff that may not happen. You will feel by default relaxed, like a wet noodle. You'll sleep probably better at night. And if you have any chronic pain, it does help, at least temporarily.
Salt, so
yeah, you're laying in 1,000-pound solution of Epsom salt. So yeah, it's not this little 5-pound bag you're dumping in your tub. This is 20, 50-pound bags. It's a lot of salt.
Right.
And no matter how fat or skinny you are, you float. So
yeah,
it's more buoyant than the Dead Sea or the Great Salt Lake.
Damn. But I have to ask, by the way, we're taping tonight on April Fool's Day. All of the whole thing about like the hillbilly, like heroin, that wasn't like an April Fool's joke, right?
I'm just kidding. I'm not doing any drugs.
We've been had.
We were in April Foolishness.
No, honestly, I wish I was joking. I'm 100% addicted to this bullshit. So
that was the April Fool right
that
there.
was the joke right there. But no, unfortunately, I'm glad we played that out. That I wasn't even thinking of that as like, hey, I'm going to be a junkie today.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not an April Fool's joke. I do work at Pizza Hut. I'm passionate. Nobody is out pizzaing the hut, and I'm out there on a heroin to make sure that nobody is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever read Snow Crash, Float?
No.
Oh, dude, you're a fucking pizza guy. You gotta read Snow Crash. The
Snow Crash,
Deliberator. The Deliberator.
I'll check it
Snow
out.
Crash is like a pizza man's fountainhead.
Is
yeah,
it?
kind of. Literally, yeah. It's literally
Wow.
it's a story
I've never
about,
heard of it until now.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it.
Look it
Although
up here.
there is a really weird like underage sex scene in it. It's not cool. But it's a more the whole I contend that the entire plot theming about that entire thing is a commentary on the latent pedophilia found within libertarianism.
Yeah, libertarian always gets thrown in with the pedophilia stuff. I never understood that.
I think that's why that's in the book.
I guess that's the limits of being so free.
Yeah,
right?
what if the pizza consents?
Right. But wow, I got the Snow Crash pulled up here. I'll check that out.
You should.
But
anyway, so what do you want to promote to the peeps before we ship off?
The Instagram is still going. I'm learning to work on the shit that only pays money anymore on online is really short form content. I'm a big fan of long form content. I will sit down and watch a 3-hour YouTube video, no problem. But TikTok, Reels, all the things that people are, myself included, being a crackhead now, doom scrolling. I mean, I'll wake up sometimes 5 in the morning. I'll doom scroll on that bed on that hillbilly heroin for like 5 hours. And so when I do create actual like 30-second to a minute videos, those are the things that actually they'll send me money for them. Not a lot because I don't post enough. But I had a few recently that went really viral. So, I am still out there making content. So please, Instagram, Float Universe, all platforms, Float Universe. The podcast may come back. I will do a more extensive epilogue. I was going to do more of an epilogue, but we got into a lot of tangents. But I'm happily we did, because it's more fun that way. But yeah, YouTube is where I'm putting all the stuff: the mall walking, the podcast, the short form content, everything but the memes. The meme book is still in production. I finally, like I said, got a title for it, and I know the kind of direction I want to take, because I didn't think I could write a book because my story isn't finished. But I have amassed enough content over the years that I've got probably enough content for 3 or 4 books. It's just like, what is the theme and what story do I want to tell? But my personal journey is nowhere near over. I still feel like Trump and Q, that the best is yet to come. So even though I'm like living on a prayer out here, making sure no one out pizzas the hut on, and also hillbilly weed too, THCA. Some also
Isn't it like indistinguishable from regular weed?
It's the precursor to THC. And the loophole is that because THCA is technically not psychoactive, until you put heat to it. Exactly. So I'm out here heartbroken on hillbilly heroin, making sure no one out pizzas the hut, and still, trying to avoid gooning and masturbating and, lonely times call for desperate measures sometimes, but trying to keep my left hand, I'm a switch hitter, but trying to keep everything in order without the gooning. So I'll tell you guys, don't goon, don't masturbate. It's the Jews win also when you jerk off. I mean, it's true. I mean, just think of the anti-Semite meme of the rubbing hands guy.
Yeah.
But he's rubbing your dick.
Every time, every time you're jerking off, that anti-Semitic caricature is
not realistic caricature.
He's hand rubbing his hands so hard that it's turning into like fire. Okay, so
sure,
he's vigorously excited over your gooning.
One thing, I'm sorry to keep you on this, but I've recently my more recent development as far as like my internet intake is I've recently come back to Reddit. And it's simply, I haven't commented once. I've simply gone in there to just gawk at these dysgenic monsters who are all complaining about their like relationship issues. And a real interesting development I've seen is the Reddit hive mind, once like the bastion of like the pro gooning framework.
Yeah.
They're now coming around to be like, porn is bad, it ruins your relationship. And it's obviously couched in this it's bad for women. It's bad for women, women in relationships with men, and these men are just not good enough. And it's like, but I'm very, I guess, encouraged, that said, about the fact that even the Redditors, the people who, the lumpy, unsymmetrical, lumpen proletariat, if you will, they're even seeing the light. They're even seeing they're even seeing the light as when it comes to the essence loss that
no one is without hope. No.
I mean,
except whoever you're about
it just doesn't lead energetically to any good place. You're filling your mind with all this imagery, a lot of it unrealistic. Basically, if it was a reality situation, you're cucking, right? You're jerking off to someone else, having sex with someone else, usually, unless you're watching a POV video. I would recommend, if you're gonna watch porn, stick to POV videos for at least it's not.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna say don't do it at all.
I'm gonna say don't do it at all, but I'm gonna say if you're gonna mitigate the damage, don't do it like watching you're like watching someone from a distance, or like the cuck chair in the hotel room. That's the funniest thing. Once I learned that there's this thing called the cuck chair, now I can't unsee it in any hotel room I go to.
You look twice at every chair you're about to sit
I'm
in.
like,
Is
well,
this
I'm
the
like,
cuck
that's
chair?
the cuck chair. Yeah, exactly.
If
So
you walk
don't
into a
get,
room, there's a chair in the corner. You're like, I'm not
don't
sitting there.
and gooning, for those that don't know, it's jerking off like to
For like
the
hours. Yeah.
well, it's not just edging, but there's an angle to gooning, which makes it gooning, which is you're jerking off to your porn fetish. That's the actual
Oh,
definition of
okay. I see.
gooning.
I'm
You're
so out of the
fetishizing your
game. I didn't
porn
even know
use.
that.
Well, no, but gooning, if you were just going to look at it and not study it and just look, kind of see what it was from a distance, is
Yeah.
basically edging. But what they're edging to, and this is where you get into like the subgenres. And I saw a whole paper on this, which was that the hypno, the sissy hypno was what there was a rabbit hole called sissy hypno, where it was like MK Ultra type videos where it was
Yeah, yeah. I've
programming
heard
you
about
to
this
be
too. Yeah.
a beta cuck, and that's where a lot of these trannies, with also the push from Israel of the pharmaceuticals to make you a
Yeah. Then
tranny.
where does that hormones come from?
Right. So it's a multi-pronged effort. And so this was the avenue that a lot of men find themselves wanting to be, being trans. And also I saw some clip on some, I forget who was the actor, but it was talking about how he wanted to be the one being fucked. He ultimately realized it was some movie about a guy going
I know
overseas,
what you're talking about. The
and he's
White
talking about,
Lotus.
yeah, and he's
Sam
talking about watching
Rockwell.
the,
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm like,
A
whoa, I'm like,
gross freaking
that's
scene.
really gone. Like, you're so far gone that you want to be the one being
Patrick
fucked.
watches all the Reddit TV shows that come out.
I study for the show while my
I,
wonderful woman plays things on the TV that I won't change because I love her so much.
I'm pretty sure I saw that doom scrolling. Now, my favorite videos now on YouTube, I got a new subgenre I like. It is advantage players, right? Guys that go into casinos and record themselves playing blackjack.
Hell
I
yeah.
didn't even know that. I didn't know that they had shoes that you could still count cards, and I thought they were all automatic reshufflers. But no, there are still
Yeah.
casinos that have like 2 decks, and you can count them. And these guys will get in there and they'll make sometimes $5,000-$6,000 before they get escorted out. They get the trespass,
Right.
but sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. But they go around and they just hit casinos. And there's tons of these people doing this on YouTube. So on my Predator Hunter channels, I got my Advantage Player channels. I've got my abandoned mall, like dying Midwest.
Oh yeah, Flea-Bitten Adventures is a great channel. You
There's
turned
an-
me on to them.
Dying Llama. You ever heard of Dying Llama? Now, this is a
No.
guy that he goes into buildings and he'll scale them all the way to the top, and he's wearing a camera, and it's like watching the cave videos for me, where it elicits a physiological
Yeah. Oh, I love
response.
cave videos. Yeah, yeah. I
Well,
love it.
this
Action
guy-
Adventure Twins is the greatest channel on YouTube.
Dying
Free
Llama.
promo.
Like, these is like, he is scaling buildings illegally, like Spider-Man, sometimes alone, and like places you couldn't imagine a person could go. And you can, like, you're watching these videos and you're like sweating, worried for the guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The cave
Please
stuff
don't be
really
dead
gets
llama.
me in a good way though.
Yeah.
Like it's like the exact amount of distance I want from being underground. But it's something that's always intrigued me. This idea that there's like another whole world underneath. And the best part is that like a person can go there, but it wasn't meant for a person. You know what I'm saying? That's really eerie. Something about that. I love it.
Kind of like
it
the
blows my
Diablo
mind.
Pass.
I would
I
never
mean-
do it. I would never. You couldn't pay me there's no amount of money
Yeah.
you could pay me to go into those caves.
Why would you when the videos exist?
Well,
For the $1 million.
I just, some people want to
I'm
do
literally in the caved cuck chair.
it. Yeah.
I'm cucking myself with these.
Scott,
these
you're gonna let
caves.
someone else climb in your cave?
No.
So I spend all my time on YouTube, and that's part of my problem with me creating content is I really have to turn because I got the Goon Cave type setup where I've got four monitors.
The content goon cave.
And so
yeah.
I've got usually the main two monitors, the project I'm working on, but I have a side monitor on
Yeah.
YouTube or something, and I'll just get into. I have ADHD bad, so I'm like, man, I'm getting into these. I'm watching another.
I got
thing
a
is-
recommendation for you.
What's that?
Is check out videos of guys cutting geodes in half.
Oh, I've seen those. I love
that
those.
fucking rules, dude. I
I
love
also
geo
like
videos.
magnet fishing is another one. I like magnet fishers. Yeah, I always like people that are exploring abandoned places, which
Yep,
is why I
I'm
got
into
into
that.
which is why I got into the mall walking. Now, my angle with mall walking, I've learned, is to be ejected from the mall. That's the only way the content is any good and interesting. Otherwise, you're just like anybody else.
What was the last time you were ejected and why?
I was ejected at it was a mall
You're just
near
saying
in Illinois. I forget the name of the mall. It's not coming to me just yet, but it was in a rough area, and it was a day. It was a busy day of the week. It was like I think it was like no,
Sunday?
it was St. Patrick's Day. That's what it was, and so it was super busy, and I saw cops there, and usually you don't see the cops at the mall. Usually it's just their own private
Yeah.
security, and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of cops at this.
Garda.
This is interesting that there's cops at the mall. This must be a mall where a lot of bad shit happens. And I'm walking to the mall doing my thing, and the security guy sees me, and he says something about I just keep walking and going, and I pretty much finish what I'm doing. And there, like I said, there was a heightened security presence at this mall to begin with. And he finally says, he comes up to me and says, "Hey, you need to stop doing that. Or I'm going to ask you to leave." I go, "Well, I'm not going to stop doing it. So you're going to have to ask, I'm going to leave." And so we talked for a little bit, and I got him, we were walking, and luckily the police didn't have to get into it. Like, usually I'm not worried about the fucking mall security, because the worst thing to do is trespass you
Yeah.
with a warning, right? Not
You
even
can
a
just
real,
leave. You can just leave before the cops
exactly.
come. Yeah.
You just stop filming, or you pretend like you're not. And so I'm walking out, I'm still filming. And he was pissed though, because he's like, "You can stay if you stop filming." I go, "Well, I'm not here to fucking shop." I go, "I'm here because I like to, chronicle
Video.
malls and give my opinion and blog and stuff." I go, "I'm just a travel blogger." And he didn't like that. And so escorted out. And
What do you
escorted
mean
out
travel blogger?
exactly.
What's that? When you like, what are you eating what are you
He's
eating,
like,
a
"You can't
burger?
film in here." And well, a lot of times my argument is this isn't professional, but ultimately they do have the legal right. So I never fight him on that, because you do not have expectation of privacy on commercial private property. It's only no expectation of privacy in the public. So
Yeah.
they do have the actual true legal right in that if it
Right.
was
You violated the non-aggression principle, basically.
right, but
The mall
sign,
did not consent.
no, but I wasn't filming professionally. Could be the argument, because you could argue, well, there's a girl doing a TikTok dance over there. Why don't you stop? Why aren't you stopping her? Stuff like that. But it's fine.
Maybe I will, motherfucker.
I think with the job ending, I have like 30
tried.
episodes. I have like 30 malls I went to that I haven't published the episodes. So I'm going to publish the back episodes. I'm going to finish up the tour duty here in the Midwest. And then I think I'm going to go back to Florida in 3 months. And hopefully, I think I'm going to start my detox here. And I'm sad to say it was not an April Fool's joke. I wish it was. But it was great being on here tonight.
Great speaking to you as always, Float.
We had a
Hopefully
good
you'll come back
episode.
soon. I will be in touch, obviously.
Gentlemen, yes, absolutely.
And for us,
liberal use of the word.
www.historyhomos.com for the RSS feed. We're also available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, BitChute, Rokfin, Rumble, Odysee, and most importantly, check us out at History Homos Pod. No. History Homos, but let me get it clean. This is the one promo that matters. Historyhomospod.substack.com. And if you like the show, it's 100% more show. In fact, tomorrow, Patrick alluded to it. Patrick alluded to it earlier, but we are going to be doing a full, probably 2-hour analysis of the science fiction novel Neuromancer. And yeah, so that's what the show is. We'll either talk about a movie review, or we'll do an entire history topic. This episode is kind of a if this isn't your first episode, you might be going, "What? Where's the history episode?" Listen,
we're making history, motherfucker.
We're talking a chance to talk to our friend Float Universe. We're going to talk to him. But if you want more of a structured episode, please head over to historyhomospod.substack.com and check it out. There's a lot of as of right now, we are number 88 in the history
May we stay there.
sales on Substack in the history category, and we're 24 in all subscribers, free and not and paid, for the history category. And I want to thank all the people who have joined at History Homos Substack. This has been the best year of History Homos so far. I said earlier we have tripled our premium subscription base, and I really appreciate what you guys have done.
Nice.
And let's keep these numbers up, guys. By this time next year, we'll be millionaires, Patrick. Just kidding, and not really.
Yeah, no, I got that. On that note, let me just reiterate. Thank you to the folks at home listening. I panic up to my eyebrows every week, hoping that I'll deliver the what you're here for, and so we really do appreciate it.
Yeah, seriously, that can't be understated. But other than that, you can follow us across social media at History Homos Pod. You can join our Telegram group at time of recording, still the friendliest place on the internet. Oh, and by the way, just so you know, if you are
Back.
well, that's a real shame that all that happened while I was doing plugs. Very pissed off. But if we do have a new policy at the History Homos Telegram chat, if you are joining the Telegram chat, we do require you to say a racial slur within an hour of joining. Otherwise, we will kick you out because we assume you're an Indian crypto scammer. So please, if you are joining, t.me/historyhomos is the channel. T.me/historyhomos chat is the chat. Please join over there. Float, I'd love to have you back at some point. Great to talk to you.
Do not redeem. Do not redeem. Those are my other favorite channels. Love the
the
Indian
scammer
baiters.
guys. Yeah.
Guys, one last thing. Tip your drivers. If you're going to order pizza, it's like a default thing. Please tip your drivers. Otherwise, don't order pizza. It's like a thing. Have a great night. You are enlightened. Thanks again.
Later, Float.
Bless.
And die with dignity. I got nothing else to say myself.
I got one thing to say, and it's to quote Mr. Float Universe, like he just said, the best is yet to come.
Oh, yeah.
Later,
the best
homos.
is yet to come, homos.
Come by the run, show me. Come by the run, show me. Come by the run, show me. Come by the run, show me.